Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you. Damn. Police or zombie problems? Your tortoise won't stop breakdancing?
Try blue tape.
The miracle of our age. Yay!
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me, or I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me, or I'm a man.
Hiding from the lawsuits, a new trick up your sleeve. Paperwork, flimsy truth, taking a dive. Drowning paperwork, then buried alive. Fraudulent baller, playing the game. Dodging the heat while fueling the flame. Thinking you slick? Now we see through the scheme. Bankruptcy, fraud, that's stealing the dream. Stacks of life folded, origami finesse. You're bleeding broke, but your dollar screams success. Got the 56K, the attention, the barn go sweet. But in court you crying, I can't make ends meet. Heavy face produce, gavel about to drop. Your lies are crumbling, your case is a flop. Fake tears streaming, crocodile flow. But the fraud you pulling, everybody knows. Fraudulent dollar, playing the game. Dodging the heat while fueling the flame. Thinking you slick? Nah, we see through the scheme. Bankruptcy, fraud, that's stealing the dream. Money trail messy, footprints in the sand. Everybody watching, receipts in their hands. Lawyers on your neck, think you know what a scheme. But your team discussed it all on their live stream.
Now you're posting balloons about selling your jewelry? Your jewelry you didn't claim. Are you kidding me? 30 cellular providers now produced in Discovery. Are any of those brain cells on?
You lied to the court and left your donors misled, saying 6K was for fighting when you'd already fled. Winning the case, this is only delays. A courtroom race and you running relays.
Stop selling jewelry. Stop taking out loans. Seriously, stop.
What's up, folks? How's it going today? Man, happy belated Halloween, by the way. I know yesterday I said if we got finished up early, we would actually, we would kick it over here. But, man, we did not finish up any time. We had more trick-or-treaters yesterday than we have ever had. I mean, it was crazy. It was absolutely freaking crazy. Look at this, this picture, by the way. So the girls were really funny. I'll show you a couple of theirs. They have no faces on them, but look at them. Here's the littlest one. She dressed up as a squishmallow. She's a she told me it's a squishmallow Dracula is what it is. And if you look at the design and stuff. It is. It's like the little Dracula kind of look. So it's Squishmallow Dracula, and then the oldest back there peeking around in her Donnie Darko-esque mask, which is pretty cool too. I mean, but you see the little one there. She's cute. She's really cute. Something funny happened. I'll show you one of her picture, but something really funny happened last night. We were going up to a house, and this house, after all this too, they weren't there. I hate it when houses leave the lights on. Little kids think, oh man, they're gonna have some kind of candy or something. But she's walking up, and they have this big inflatable thing, and she catches the cord with her foot. And when she catches it, it pulls the it pulls the inflatable toward her. It shakes like. The way it shook at first, I thought there was someone in it because of the way it shook. Well, she showed negative survival skills there. She just rolled over and just flopped over like a turtle. And it was pretty funny. And after she did it, at first I thought she failed, but then I noticed what happened. Oh my God, it was pretty funny. She was like, "Are you laughing, Dad? Don't you tell that story?" Oh, it was too funny. Here's the oldest, her mask and everything she wore. I like the look of it. It was creepy. She looked really good on it though. Our town down here, little bitty town, does I'm open for Main Street. So they open up all the businesses on our Main Street, and they have giveaways. And man, thousands of kids out. It was, like I said, it was wild. I've never seen anything like it. And I would say, hey, maybe it has something to do with all the governmental mess that's going on, but there were more people giving away candy than I've ever seen too. So I don't know. I don't know if it's people just wanting to go back to something. I'm not sure, but it was really interesting. It was good. But anyway, one thing I will say, so when I'm away, I take the kids out, there's nobody here. And I leave out a thing of candy. I always put on like a take one, take two. So I told them to take 2 pieces of candy. I put it on the ball. I put it on there 3 times, by the way. Kids are great about it, by the way. Kids, absolutely honest to a fault. Adults, I had adults come through, and the last row, so I filled it up 4 times that night because I had enough candy to do it. But I've learned in the past never to put out all my candy at one time. But I had 2 groups of adults come through, and they took everything. And I was like, man, those are some scummy people. I may post them. I may, but there were some kids in the background, and I don't want to catch them, but they did. They like adults, just straight up. They weren't kids. They weren't old teens. They were adults, and they took everything. They even took it with one group. I had to like flag down some kids and tell them, hey, come back because I've got more candy. I saw it on the doorbell. I was already at the house, but I didn't want to answer the door 70 times. But I thought, man, what scummy people. They saw kids coming, and they took everything before the kids could get some. So I flagged the kids down. I was like, hey, come back. And caught them. Luckily, because I was kind of surprised by it. But man, anyway, we had a good one though. But last night, like I said, by the time everything finished up, it was really late. So today, we have had a gift as well. So I had already set up everything. And I want to show you, Lynette has been on a posting spree. And I think that the 2Ls are going to freak the hell out about it because I went ahead and grabbed these, but I can't show them all yet. Okay. And the reason I can't show them all yet is I'll show you what's here. It's proof of the contractual stuff. And wow, she posted this in the last hour. She posted like 20 freaking pages of contractual stuff showing what had been done before and whatnot. But it's really funny because wow, look at that. Freaking 20 pages. They're going to freak the hell out. like I said, I've grabbed them, but there are a lot of addresses and stuff that are on there. I figure I'll read this to you. And one of the things we have not gone over, and it's important, and again, Lynette says she's going to respond to all of this. More power to her, by the way. I've definitely read her responses too. I always do. But one thing that apparently not a lot of people watched, and they should have, is the second half of the Jamie Starr Johnson interview. Shara Wolf put it up. It got about 5,000 views, but it's over an hour long, and there's a lot there. I finally, now, I went through, listen, but I was distracted because I had a bunch going on, and I did not give it enough of a listen. This time, I went back through listening to make sure I caught everything, and I was like, man, that is some crazy stuff. we definitely need to hit that. So I think that's what we're going to do tonight. But I want to read this post here because we are definitely going to hit that. I'll have all that stuff redacted by tomorrow. I want to make sure there's multiple documents with address and stuff. And again, everybody knows from court documents the address all of this is taking place at, but still. And it will probably be very interesting tonight. There will be a lot of fireworks, I imagine, because, well, some people stole Lynette Preston's money, for sure. Lynette needs to understand, too, that if she wants to answer Jamie Starr Johnson, like, we did read her first post about that. We definitely did. And if she wanted to answer the second video, she is more than welcome to answer that too, I would say, in fact, that out of anyone, the people that she thought hated her have actually been the fairest in reading everything she puts out, I would say that we've been very fair in it. Now, again, I don't say that I believe everything she says, but I definitely, just like court documents and everything, I definitely read and listen to everything. That way I can make an informed decision. Let me get a drink here. Something else. This is random. I don't know if you guys know anything about this, but this is crazy. So I want to note this before we get started, okay? Because I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. So let me pull up. I'm going to pull up a headline. I'm just going to tell you about this for a minute, and then we're going to get into this. But I feel remiss if I do not mention this because this irritates me. So there was a lawsuit against YouTuber Plus Logan Paul. You may not know who he is. The guy who fought Mike Tyson recently? That's his brother. Okay, these guys are huge, right? Well, they put together this thing a few years ago called Crypto Zoo. It was supposed to be during all of the crypto spaces, and you had NFTs, the little pictures that people bought up that have lost about 90% of their value now because the speculation's over. You have crypto coins. Well, you had this project essentially. I'm not going to go through it. It's not really a game per se. To be honest, it is a game, but the way that they frame it, it was during that whole crypto boom, right? Well, the thing not only doesn't deliver, but it does nothing. Nothing happens, and people, they lost millions on it. Millions. So there was a class action lawsuit. Well, the class action lawsuit, other people may still be on in the crosshairs, as it were, for it. But the justice system, in its infinite wisdom, because it doesn't understand technology, it still has a outlook that's about 70 years old, outdated. It dismissed the class action lawsuit against this guy. Despite the fact that, again, they delivered no project, they just walked away from it like it never existed. And this kind of stuff is very disturbing to me because I watched that whole crypto space thing go off. And again, I'm mentioning this because I feel remiss in it. That whole time period, it's like people have forgotten it. They forget like how crazy and speculative it was. And people were being told that they were going to make fortunes on it. And some people lost everything during those time periods. They gambled on it and they lost. And Oh, they lost it to people that are not being held responsible. You had that. You remember the Hawktua girl? That whole thing? Yeah. She was investigated. No crime, baby, even though they didn't deliver anything with her either. I mean, it's over and over. It's been the same song. It's been build an audience, build a fake crypto coin. And it's just, God, it's awful. I got approached. It's funny. During the depth stuff, I got approached by 3 crypto places wanting to put out well, they weren't crypto, but they were NFT places. They put out the little pictures and they offered me money to promote. And I was like, hell, did I know that ain't happening? You know, I was like, cool little pictures, but no, I'm not telling people that, you know, follow me. Hey, follow and give money to this place where you get nothing, you know, but 3 places. And some of those people, they offered folks sizable amounts of money, and a lot of people cashed in. They did. And it's crazy, you know, especially since nobody's being held responsible for it. Oh, but anyway, yeah, you won't real exactly. I want real paper dollars too. That's the thing. That's the one. It's so weird though. All right, let's check these out though. I'm gonna read this first. Give me 1 minute here. I'm gonna read the posting from Miss Preston, because one of my favorite things out of everything that has happened recently is the chaos in which 2L finds themselves. Because, like I said, 2L has definitely taken this person's money, whether you like Lynette Preston or not. She definitely took her money. She says she's, quote unquote, just holding it. The total she notes, though, are absolute trash. You know, again, oh, I have $18,000 left. That's, again, what they told the public. They said that total many times. Lynette Preston seems to be under the assumption that that's what's there. Although I get the feeling, Lynette Preston, you should post this. I would say, if you hear any of this, Lynette, you should post how much money you think these people raised. You should tell everybody, because then tell them, well, here, let me rephrase that. You should note how much they told you, if they told you a figure, or if they told you nothing. Then on top of that, after seeing everything, how much do you think they raised? Because you've seen some of the people out there. Again, we've seen some numbers, and I'm curious what she thinks was actually raised there. And I'm curious what they told her. But anyway, let's look at this. By the way, welcome to, it is a new month as well. Yeah, that's right. New month kicking off on a freaking Saturday, man. It's crazy, isn't it, that we're already in November? You know, 2025 is almost closing out. It's wild to think, isn't it? The cases we're covering, I mean, you've had some interesting wins. You've had delay tactics trying to keep people from actually getting further, you know, the bankruptcy and stuff, which looks very desperate. But like Fed 1, I think it's heavily in Hale's favor. Again, the state cases, they fell apart. So they went in his or whomever they were aimed at's favor. And then Fed 2, who knows, man? Fed 2 is such a mess. And Belitho, that last ruling, dude, I really hope, after reading, I went back and looked at Randy's. By the way, I want to mention this real quick. I went back and read through Randy's initial filing and then what the judge noted on it. And I'm pretty confused by something, because the judge is essentially saying that Luthman wasn't served because 2 addresses that Luthman brought up in court, they hadn't been served yet, and Jeremy would have to serve them. And yet, if you look at the paperwork, Jeremy did serve them. I went back and checked that, and sure enough, multiple times, it's very well documented, meaning that I don't think that they read over. I don't think him or his staff read those documents correctly at all. I think that they just perused through them and that's troubling. That is very troubling. Whether he likes the case or not, if he's telling you you have to do something and you've already done it, then haven't you already met the burden that he was talking about? And it puts the lawyer that he already has made statements about, which again, I think he's made some appealable statements and Fed too, but it puts them in a predicament. Because when you correct the judge, I mean, again, and he pretty much him and the other judge, they let Luthman post some crazy shit in this case already too. I mean, they've already turned it into a clown show. Oh, so much of a mess. And I hate it when a judge can't keep his courtroom situated. Let's see, though. Let's check this out. So she says, here is 1 hour ago. All right. So this was posted very shortly ago. I'm done with people messaging me, calling me a liar, telling me Lisa built our building, that Lisa held our permit. First of all, the stuff that's built there, anybody that thinks that Lisa built that is absolutely wrong. Lisa built nothing on it. So if people are under the impression that that happened, that is absolutely false. See, that's part of the stole money from Lynette Preston. Anybody that thinks that, well, you are definitely mistaken. And I'm sure that that's coming from certain people taking 2L talking points and running with them. I think everybody around here pretty much understands that she did not do a damn thing as far as building, but built that Lisa held her permit and that she bought the permit, that I dropped the ball on the whole thing. And I am the reason that the permit expired. Actually, I think that is a wrong, incorrect statement too. I think that Preston did have permits. They were waiting on 2L to come through with promised work, and it never happened. I think they were put on the hook until that expired and afterwards too. And it looks like through the emails that we saw, well, you notice 2L doesn't show any of those emails, by the way. Nothing to vindicate. Nothing on, again, you notice the quote-unquote projects completion and expenses. The only thing 2L would show was something trying to refute the $56,000 that came from one donor. Did a terrible job on that, by the way, because again, confirmed money. Oh, it's real. It was definitely given by a person. And the amounts that she said, 18 grand remaining, make no sense whatsoever. They have no sense. So all the other stuff, though, receipts, all of that other bullshit that supposedly exists, yeah, never been shown. Just trust me, folks. Trust me. And by the way, in her thing, everyone, remember, in order to believe that, everyone else has to be a liar. Everyone else. The law, oh man. And remember, too, that taking donations, crowdfunding or crowdsourcing, that's also not fundraising according to them, when in fact, look it up, it definitely is. So crazy to tell people that. But anyway, excuse me, but I told the story. I told the truth, and right here in all these documents, you'll see the checklist that what we had to follow, what we needed to do, and then it needed to be inspected to move on. Next thing we get is the next 180 days of our permit, so that we could move forward to the next job on the permit itself. So they'll show you again. We'll look through all the redacted documents probably tomorrow, I'm thinking, because it'll take me a day to go through it all. But you can see where the inspector checked. They wrote March 20th as the date for the next inspection. I didn't lie. I told the truth, everything. For those of you who do not believe me, I'm sorry for you, because I couldn't be more laid out. I didn't do anything to my stalker. I didn't do anything to Lisa. My daughter loves Lisa. I love Lisa to death. Tori, Gabe, we loved all of them. But things changed when Lisa had to figure out a way to save face. And in order to do that, and instead, sorry, I'm just telling the truth, she couldn't get the framing done. No, it's not a couldn't, by the way, Lynette. It's didn't. Didn't is a big, there's a distinction you have to go with. Couldn't means that for some odd reason, she definitely could have. She just didn't. It would have been very possible. But again, even where you're at now, even if this was 100% your fault, she has nothing to fall back on to say that getting the permits for you, again, the money was given to her. It wasn't given to her for framing, as we've noted before. It was given to her for the Barndo project. And that in and of itself, that would mean anything. She doesn't get to pick and choose what part of the project she gives money for, because that has allowed her to hold on to money. And again, I noticed that all of those people out there that scream and yell about you being in the right, they're not helping you. Isn't that weird? But she made up a lie that I was saying malicious things about her, being rude to her, that I was ungrateful, that I wasn't thinking for anything that we had gotten, which couldn't be farther from the truth. I've never been more thankful in my life for all the love and support we've gotten from everyone involved, even you haters. I feel sorry for you. You can't stay on topic, can you, lady? Oh my God. That is so funny. But that's interesting though. Look at this comment right here. This says a lot. Even our haters, I feel sorry for you. You've been duped into A&E failed sitcom. Unfortunately, our actors and actresses in a failed sitcom, and it sure is making a lot of people rich. Where is ours? Huh? Where's your money? Well, you actually were given more money than anybody. That's the reality of it. But where's yours? Well, we know where your money is. Maybe you need to stop focusing on the my stalker and focus on the people that are surrounding you. And maybe extend that and ask about every one of them. Are you doing that? Have you ever really asked yourself why they're all there? Why would we do all this for no gain whatsoever? Why would we do this for no gain whatsoever? Well, you did. Yeah, you did ask some things that looked very hinky, Lynette. Like when you wanted, what was it, $65K to make John go away? That very much reads like blackmail. Especially with everything else that's going on. Oh, all these terrible things. Well, if you're really concerned about it, why don't you drop $65K and John goes away? I mean, that's kind of bizarre. But only pain and heartache and to lose everything we love. Think about that. Pain and heartache and lose everything we love. Okay, well, you actually were doing pretty good for a hot minute there, weren't you? You had the flea market going on. You had all the stock on it. You had all of that. And again, you yourself, now again, going with your story, you say that the reason you don't have an RV was because of black mold. That wasn't because of anyone out there. And again, you made statements in, I think it was 2023. Again, there's a video out there that talks about everything that had happened. It was before any case, and you had already said that your project, you were out of money. So blaming it on German, so I think that's going to be a little problem for you when you run into your own work. It's a video where you discuss it, by the way. There's absolutely a video saying that. I've seen it. I've seen it unredacted. And you posted it. So think about that for a minute, think about it, read through the documents, look at the way things have been done and what order they had to be done in, the inspections that needed to be done, that the applications that were made, everything was in my name, John's name. I paid for all of that out of proceedings from the house sale. John's money came later into things. Checks were written. I don't want to hear any more about this because I've proven all of it. It's debunked, punk. Dude, are you calling 2L a punk? This will probably trigger some fun answers. I'm sure that this will get into some fun times. I'm sure some people are going to get really butthurt about it, and I think we'll have some fun with it. You know, I think we will see some fun if she could stick to her topic. You know, keep one topic free of the other, it would probably help her a bit. See, that's one thing, like, I've tried to make very clear when talking about this stuff, you know, with regard to like Lynette speaking to the police, if they were to hear about this, I think it would confuse them, you know, I think it would confuse them severely. Now, we're going to check this out now. Now, this, if you have not, I've let this up for a week plus now. I don't remember how many days now. You know, I'm finally, this is, again, we went over part one. Part one was interesting, but it just ended, you know, and understandably, because all of this is long, but this is Jamie Starr Johnson. Now, Jamie Starr Johnson holds a lot of pieces that are meaningful because she was around back when people were not supposedly fans. I mean, again, she provided pictures of checking out the Hales, even though they weren't fans. And again, Lynette, you are more than welcome to debunk it if you feel like it. You know, if you feel like you can do that. You also have a channel. Make videos, man. I keep saying that. Make a video. Make one about, you should make a video with 2L though. I think you should talk about their stuff in video. But anyway, let's check this out. Now I'm skimming forward about 1 minute and 32 seconds because let me put the closed captions on, but I'm going to skip forward because there's music beforehand. So I'm just cutting forward. And again, check out original channel. That would be Shara Wolf. If anybody brings up anything during this, I will try to catch it as it comes up. Remember to tell people we're live. I know we skipped yesterday, but like I said, it was crazy. I hate missing days, but it's a new month. If you want to help out the channel there, tell people we are live. Hit that like button again. And if you want to go further, you want to help out the channel, think about ye old breadsticks. And here we go.
And this is Otter Creek and the Golden Key. My name is Shara Wolf, and you're listening to Tea Time.
So we just want to know the best way to handle it. Whatever we do, I don't want to do it without an officer because they are connected to the Hales, so we don't want any problems. I'm on the phone, and if you keep interrupting me, you're going to get your mouth spanked. No, you can't. Stop talking. I'm on the phone.
Okay.
You're being rude.
All righty. I'm going to have an officer give you a call back so you can let him know what's going on here, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, you looked at the place in Otter Creek.
That, by the way, is a 911 call. So there is no way to say that that is some kind of fraudulent posting. It's somehow, you know, something that was posted under the proverbial table or whatever. That 100% 911 call. So, you know, just a note. If people, Lynette, man, look at your interactions. That's a terrible interaction. I mean, when you're talking to the popo and you're saying that that's a good interaction, that's not. I just said, anyway, I'm going to continue.
On the drive home, how was that? Was it still they were fighting in the car and things? Was all that going on the way home too? Back to Northport from Otter Creek to visit?
All I remember is there was always fighting.
Okay, so did you leave pretty soon after you got back to the...
So remember, Jamie mentioned conflict. And you know, there seems to be a lot of conflict. Anything we've ever heard that comes from property that is not just a curated stream. You know, even in some curated items, you still hear some kind of conflict. You know, Lynette comes off gruff anyway. She does. Like, John, get away from that window. It sounds gruff. You heard the interactions with the kid there for the 911. That's anyway. I don't even want to get into that. That just irritates me. But what you hear with these two talking about the adult relationship, you can hear conflict a lot. Like, again, there is a video with Tom Collins or Thomas Collins, and that thing, you can hear conflict, and it's loud, despite the fact that he is not on their property. He is out in the road. He is over there trying to do a gotcha on Travis, talking about, you know, cameras and everything else. It's wild. Let's continue.
Northport house, because you were done cleaning at that point?
There was a couple days that I know we went to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day we went to the beach.
Okay.
So, you know, a few days after.
Yeah.
That's why I want to say it was probably a week, but I'm not positive.
So you had a chance for a couple days just to relax at that point and get to know the baby, go do some like whatever sightseeing or beach time or whatever it was you guys did. And then you flew home.
Yep.
Okay, that would have been 2021. So 2 years later, let's move it up to 2 years later, because 2 years passed before you were invited to come down again.
Well, I was, and here's the whole thing. I was bringing my family to the other
family
figure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to the other family for the summer. At that time, I asked if I could go ahead because I was going to have a camper.
Yes.
And I needed to a place to go.
Right.
And that way I could be somewhat close to my family while they were visiting. And, of course, have a visit with them.
Okay, so that sounded fun.
Before I ever got there, that person was already discussing using and me leaving the camper.
The camper.
Before
So
I ever got there.
she wanted to have your camper even before you got there.
And the camper came before I got there.
Right. And she checked it all out.
Now, the camper story is that's interesting to come up, considering it mirrors another camper story that we've heard of. Again, just a note, anything brought up in here, I'm talking about what's noted here. I'm not accusing anyone of anything, by the way, nor are you. We are going over and we are looking at, though, everything that is brought up. I think these are interesting because Jamie Starr Johnson was somebody that Lynette brought up quite a bit at one time. And I think that fueled this. Oh, by the way, a couple of people have written and asked, and totally forgot to mention this. They were asking about the live stream 2 days ago. Where is it? Where did it go? Well, you know, we were having technical problems through that. And I'm not sure what it caused, but when it parses out, you know, when YouTube brings up your live stream and like puts it out to the public, it made a mess of it. And I don't know if that's from technical difficulties on my side, which is weird. Maybe they were just a whole day, but regardless, it wasn't a strike or anything crazy like that. It just couldn't get it to situate. So we ended up, after a while, like part of it was unwatchable. It was just terrible. So, you know, and it wasn't like that live or people would have complained, but it was on playback. So, but anyway, I'll see if I can cut that out of there, but I don't know. It may make the live stream unwatchable totally. So I privated it, and then we had Halloween. But anyway, let's continue.
Out and got it all ready and saw no issues with it.
Yep.
But ultimately, I do want to say that you nor anyone you were involved with had anything to do with any stolen property whatsoever. Yeah. That property was acquired or purchased after the fact, which is innocent on your part. And actually, from what I understand, at that point, because of that, how it was acquired and purchased, that you actually could have kept that property and you should have been able to drive it off that lot and leave anyway, because really it was now legally yours. So I'm going to fast forward in that July visit for a moment and ask you something about when you tried to take your camper and leave that property when things got unbearable. Did she block you and stop you from taking your property?
Yes, I had set up to have it moved to a different property, and I was told there's no way that she was going to let me take it to somebody else's property to be ruined and destroyed.
Because she wanted that camper.
Very much so.
Oh my God.
So see, again, it's so much like the Lloyd allegations, which again, it kind of blows my mind. The one thing that really frightened me with the Lloyd allegations is Lloyd talking about how John Cook was saying that his camper, and posting about how the camper would be bought for $1, not from some contractual agreement behind the scenes, but for $1. Again, the context of that it's kind of frightening, like when you think about it. But in here, you have someone else coming forward and being like, hey, yeah, as far as camper, well, not only were there problems on the property to the point that things became unbearable, but they didn't want to allow me to remove my property, which is crazy.
Goodness, she did not want to have.
She talked about it constantly, that if I didn't want to take it home, that I could leave it there, and that her and the baby could live in it.
Wow.
And this was a very nice camper.
I really want to stay stuck on this one part for a minute where she did not allow you to take your camper and leave.
Yep.
That was, first of all, you were already there for about 2 months, right? You were there that long.
Correct.
Wow.
You were basically considered.
It was when I decided I would not help.
That's another question. Okay, so this is another thing that blows my mind too. Lynette says that this person, I'm going to say, is a substance abuser. I think that's the best way to approach her allegations, right? Okay, so if that person is all of these things, why have them on the property for 2 months when you have vulnerable people around? Why have this outsider? I'm not talking about interior, like, problems in your family. I'm not talking about an ex or something. I'm talking about an outsider that is on your property for multiple months. How do you explain that away?
And I went to the, like immediate care about my foot.
Yeah.
When I came back, that's when the second time I was told, before I ever got back, that the camper was gone. So I was at the doctor.
Oh my goodness.
I was going to come back because they let me, when she refused to let me take the camper, I did stay one more night. I stayed away from the camper.
Yeah.
I have family and stuff in there.
And you needed a break. I remember you telling me you needed a break.
That's exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
Was a break from all the chaos and all the constant yelling and fighting.
Unreal.
So when I went out and did something with family, then she was mad. So when I came home, I had a family member with me, and she freaked out on me, saying that I was bringing strangers around her baby. It was my family. We were going to get some things. I was going to shower.
See, that's the thing, the kicker, though. Okay, so if strangers are bad, and I mean, I could understand that, if it were just strangers. Man, my volume is jacked up again. Give me a second here. I'm adjusting my volume. It should get louder. I should get louder, not the thing. Every freaking time, man. StreamYard. If I sound low, by the way, just let me know. If I'm broadcasting, because apparently StreamYard's cut me down to 44%. Usually my microphone is set on 80%. So it cut my volume in half. And it's not a buffer or anything. It just decided to do it out of the blue. I don't know why. You're loud? Okay. Well, see, when I talk in this, will it get...
Yeah.
Get some things.
You were coming home.
Can you hear me okay then?
You were living...
Okay. Can you hear me with that okay? I want to make sure, because like if I talk with something, a lot of times it'll drown me out. I try not to talk while it's on, but sometimes you do. Let me get those seconds back, by the way. I just don't want to lose those few seconds there. But yeah, with the whole thing, what I don't get is, again, if the stranger thing, like the family's a problem, but Lynette again accused Jamie of some pretty awful stuff. She was talking about her substance use and abuse. She was saying, she couldn't even be conscious, because again, she had a little, I'm going to say, homemade powder problem. And well, we're hearing that she stayed on there for months, but it was family that was the problem coming around. That seems weird.
When I went out and did something with family, then she was mad. So when I came home, I had a family member with me, and she freaked out on me, saying that I was bringing strangers around her baby. It was my family. We were going to get some things. I was going to shower. We were going to get some things.
You were coming home.
Ready for that night.
You were living. Listen, you were living there legally. You were coming home with a family member to get some things, and you were going to do other things. So really, you had every legal right to do that, and because you were there for 2 months, you actually lived there.
That is correct. Now that mirrors the Lloyd situation and Trespass 5. Because again, you as a person staying on that property after she has been there that long, she has rights. I realize as a landowner, you may not like that, but after she's been there for X amount of time, she definitely has rights. She has the right to bring people on. She has the right to have visitors. Now, if you think that's a problem, if you think they're a bunch of criminal weirdos or whatever, that you can call the police on them. But again, it goes back to the original statement too. If you think there was a criminal problem, what about the original person you were making allegations about? It's such a bizarre thing. And the reason I mention all of this, the reason I bring it back to that is because, again, there's Lynette. Lynette says that she doesn't allow people, with those kind of issues, that kind of use on her property. And yet she made allegations about this person right here, and they stayed on the property for a while. They weren't shown the door and shown the door quickly. And there have been other people as well, some sketchy people with some sketchy issues. So again, I think there's some clarification to be made in there. How do you take all of that stuff and how do you really make a case for it? I mean, that seems weird, doesn't it? Seems very weird, but let's continue.
Came back with your family, and did she tell you had to leave at that point?
Yes, she blew up and told me I had to leave.
Which was really not following the statutes in the area, because she did not have the right to tell you to leave your home.
No. And at first she wanted everything gone, so that's why I made arrangements to take it somewhere else while I continued that stay until my family was done visiting their family.
Did you pay to have it?
To take us all home.
Did you pay those arrangements to get it ready to be picked up?
It was going to be paid.
Okay, but you made the arrangements.
I paid a portion of it.
So you made those arrangements to take your camper, and when you called her or tried to come back, what happened?
She refused to let me have it.
Did she refuse to let you on the property? Did she tell you to leave the property? Like, what happened?
She told me to leave when I was there with my family members.
And did she tell you that you can't come back?
Oh, yeah.
That would be a law enforcement issue, by the way. You cannot eject somebody from the property. They could, again, if there was some kind of illegality that is going on and it's provable, then getting law enforcement involved, you could potentially eject them from your property. But since they are staying there, you have to give them the right to retrieve property. And again, the other part of that too is there's a process to ejecting people. We see how do you think like Florida has a squatter problem, right? And I'm not comparing these folks to squatters. I'm making a point here. When you look at that, how do you think squatters end up like enmeshed in property to the point it's a problem, like a real problem? That's because you can't get them out of there. The law situated, even with illegalities, is difficult. So, doing this, I mean, again, they think they bring people on, and especially if you try to withhold property too, that is theft. That would be theft. So
All your clothing was in there. All your food was there. Everything that you owned was in that camper.
Yeah, I had everything that I needed to.
You could have lived there. You could have actually lived there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I could have lived in that trailer for a long time. I had almost all new clothing.
Yeah.
I see your JD. If you other people are like, hey, you get rid of squatters by a video. Yes, indeed. There are ways. In fact, I'm going to mention this real fast. There's a guy online. If you want to see something really funny, you should look this up, okay? Asian Andy and squatters. Asian Andy was a YouTuber that he would go into like public places. He would use the chat to speak function, and he would annoy people. And finally, YouTube banned that kind of content, right? So he went other places. And I mean, that stuff, it is what it is. But the best thing he ever did, his father had some property and squatters moved into it. They would not go away. Now, Asian Andy, woo, man, I could not imagine living around him. He would drive you insane. Well, his father called in Asian Andy and was like, why don't you get rid of him? He's like, all right. So he moves into the property and just, oh God, he's driving them insane. Well, then he brings in an even more annoying person. And it goes to the point the squatters were actually calling the police. And the police got to the point and they told the squatters, we'll arrest you, which I thought was really weird. They won't arrest you for squatting, but they would arrest you for falsely calling the police. But they all, Asian Andy doesn't get arrested, but the guy that he brought in and the squatter, they end up getting arrested because it gets so crazy. But you can look it up. It's on YouTube. Just look up Asian Andy and squatters because, wow, it's nutty.
My birthday, I celebrated my birthday there, so I had bought an electric drum set.
Oh, I remember the drum set. That was in there too. So you had a lot of valuables in your camper, and you had a beautiful camper.
I had money.
And now let's talk about that too. Oh, was money missing?
Absolutely.
Oh, let's talk about that for a minute because something happened in somebody else's camper where there was money on a table that disappeared. And she was entering that camper against the man's wish when he was in the hospital because of an injury that he had.
And I don't know how many times she entered it either.
You don't know.
I didn't have it locked.
You don't know.
And all I was told is all my contents were in the camper.
Oh, wait a minute.
All taken away.
She told you that all of your contents were in the camper and they were taken away. I happen to know otherwise.
Yep.
I happen to know otherwise.
I know.
I know exactly where your stuff was. Everywhere that you left it outside in all those containers, you had a lot of property on the outside underneath.
Yep.
You had a lot of mechanical things hooked up to the camper that were purchased to hook the camper up. You had stairs and all kinds. You had
everything.
You had a lot of things that were on the outside.
We had chairs outside.
And again, tell me, what did she tell you happened to all those things?
That they were all put in the camper, and I could not come back to the property. There was nothing there for me.
Well, I have evidence.
One of the biggest things that really bothered me is, things can be replaced. In the end, I was, after a week of living on the streets, not knowing anything.
Oh my goodness! My car, you were living in your car because she took your home away. Wow.
Yeah, I was able to get the contents and get a U-Haul, but there was things that were not included in that, and that would have been every single thing. I mean, I even had outside rooster stuff.
I know.
She always wanted it, and she took that. But the biggest thing that bothered me is when we came down, we borrowed my pops's handicap shelf that you would put a wheelchair on the back of a car. It was on the hitch, and she kept that, and that was my father's wheelchair.
Wow.
So that was very, very upsetting.
Devastating.
That's the one thing that it wasn't my property, so you can imagine the guilt that I had when I was not able to return.
I'm going to let Shara finish this because I got a couple questions about that, but she's noting, something with Evan. I want to see what she says here real quick.
Turn that.
So I collected records in this case, especially what happened in that event. And what I heard on the audio does not match at all what she told you and what happened to your property.
Right.
And in fact,
behind.
well, a sheriff deputy instructed her on what to do with your property. Are you aware of that?
Yep. After you.
I told you. He and I'm going to put that out in this video as well at the end. Okay, it's going to be on here, the evidence, where he instructed her to return all your property to you, and she
and sue. You know, ultimately, just straight up, I'm going to be as clear as I can about that. Sue. You know, because again, if she took your property and she was instructed by the sheriffs to return said property is not anywhere that it can be located. It wasn't documented. It all just disappeared. Well, then, I mean, again, I definitely would. I would most definitely sue. Like I said, I appreciate it. Hey, man, over 2,400 of you popped up for this. This is good. I appreciate it on a Saturday. That's wild, by the way. This will take a hot minute. Tell people we're live today, though. Like I said, I wasn't sure if we would be live today or not, so I got the notification up late. Over 2,000 on Saturday is great. So thank you all, by the way. I do appreciate you being here. Jamie has a lot to say. Like I said, a lot of people, they skipped it. And Jamie is a player in all of this insanity. He's just another voice. And people, they caught the first part. There was about 10,000 people that listened to the first thing, which I think a lot more people need to tune into anyway with the Shara Wolf stuff. Because again, Jamie's name, it's tied into the beginning of all of this stuff. You know, it's tied into the beginning of the Hales stuff with lawsuits and everything else. You know, the picture there that's tied in, but it's also another story. And when you listen to it, you can, again, you know, ultimately all of this stuff is playing outside of it, and we pick it up and we look at it, and you decide what you think is true or not. But I think there's a lot of these stories and stuff. So, you know, it's kind of strange. Like, what I don't understand here, and maybe Lynette could try to explain this. Why is every one of these folks that come to that property, or that have, you know, they have time where they mingle in, why do they come away with these horrible stories? And again, if they're such horrible people, like substance users and stuff, why are they there in the first place? You know, I could see making a mistake and inviting one around, but, you know, when you're like, hey, I know that they were doing this stuff right off the bat, they were here for X amount, why aren't you booting them? Like, they wouldn't be sticking around on my property, I tell you what. You know, they're not, again, this isn't like a family member that you can't make leave or something. You're talking about a stranger, you know, somebody you again may have become comfortable with, but still a stranger. So how do you explain that away? So many, if it were one, two, but how do you explain away so many?
Refused. How many times did you ask her and beg her for your property? How many times?
Many times. I mean, I couldn't even tell you. I'm like, this is wrong. And then especially when I found, you know, and was able to finally, after a week, get my items, I had to clear that out all by myself. It took me 10 hours in the heat of July, you know, into July, to take all my items out of the trailer and put them into a U-Haul to bring it back to where I lived.
While you were living homeless because she took your home.
Yeah, and all my clothes, all my contact stuff.
That is horrific.
It was, and I had to rely on, you know, people's kindness, so I didn't have, you know, wasn't actually living on the street. And I had my car.
And we were talking about the dead of heat of Florida, the dead of heat in the summer.
And I was not, my health was not the best. So
and you just spent 2 months working your butt off on that property and dealing with that stress.
Yep.
So you were already a mess.
I tried to get my property back. Especially, I kept telling her, you know, the things are not here. Where's all my things? Oh, we threw them in the trash. That was the second story.
Oh, is that right? She threw your things in the trash.
Yep.
That's interesting.
All trash, and that it was just trash I had brought to the property, and that's why, they, of course, were getting in trouble for all the trash.
Are you aware?
My trash.
Are you aware that she's always selling things?
No.
Well, she somehow, and look, at someone who has no money and is always doing GoFundMes for money, she has been selling truckloads of jewelry. Where's she getting all that jewelry from?
I don't know.
She literally always has, she tells me all along while I was working with her that she would have these little special secret gift things
I remember that.
Yeah.
She was going to do that. She hadn't done that yet, but that's how she was going to have these boxes and some advice on how she should package them and so forth. I just now recalled that.
Yeah, but you know why? You know why I think they were secret?
How does that? I know how some of that came up, by the way. Hey, by the way, Sue, I got to catch the super sticker while it's here, too. I love it. Thank you, Sue. Appreciate that. Victory! Indeed. Indeed. And thank you for that. I appreciate you. Glad to catch it. I'll catch all super chats as I'm just catching while they're up. If they come up in the thing, we'll catch them during the watch through.
Little things where you don't know what you get until you buy it. How would she be able to display something that somebody might recognize?
Right, right.
That's that's my opinion. I'm saying that as an opinion, obviously, because I can't prove it.
Mad when I collected. So when they first got there, evidently she had lots of shells, and out by the back of one of the sheds, the laundry shed, they were just all thrown. I spent hours because she was so upset about that. I spent hours picking them up, putting them in a container, bringing them back over to the area behind my camper, using my water hoses to clean them off.
Yeah.
She got super duper mad at me, acting like I was stealing them from her.
Do you know that? Do you know that she accused you of stealing a lot of her property when you left?
Absolutely not. I never was around.
But guess what? She
stole mine.
That's what I'm saying. This is very, very bizarre behavior.
Yeah, she did state, by the way, Preston stated that she was a substance user and that she had taken quite a few different odds and ends, which is an interesting issue. I could see a user taking some stuff, but again, they lost their main transport with their main domicile, so that would seem to make it more difficult. And a lot of the stuff, by the way, that's being sold currently, again, there's disputes on whether or not they were gifts to sale. But many of those things came in gifted. Now, I know some of them were definitely for sale. Like, for example, the stuff Robbie says that he gifted, that actually came from Only Me. Only Me spent thousands and thousands of dollars indirectly gifting that kind of stuff. Other things, they were indirect gifts. Some of them, again, there's disputed items. Like, we've seen the quilt that was hanging up, the one that supposedly had $75 on it, and depending on who you listen to, where 2 L's go as far as to insult the creator and say that made me allergic. I broke out in hives. It almost killed me. Why would you put it on a baby? What a monster, man. Oh, God, what a monster. Oh, Lord. Now, by the way, if you all do me a favor, if you are lurking out there, too, or even if you're not, make a comment in chat. Let's see. Some people have been saying that that YouTube counts lurkers. But see, I do not think that's true. Twitch, they use about the same AI as Twitch. And Twitch was caught recently where people were doing the same things. When you would comment in, and it would boost view. We're talking with some channels 60%. So it definitely is not counting. So I'm curious about that. Like I said, you can comment a letter or whatever. Let's just see what happens. I'm always curious. And see, right now, okay, like for mine, I've got a control booth. I don't know what you see, but I've got a control booth. And for a minute there, it jumped down from 2,400 to 2,260. I was like, wait, what? That's weird. And now it jumped back up to 2,410. See, I told you there's something bizarre about it that's going on. There's definitely something broken in their counter. And thank you all, too. Wanda, what's up, Wanda? Thanks for the 20 there, by the way. See that? Hey, Tug, glad you're here tonight. Missed you last night. Yeah, indeed. You know, I wanted to live stream on Thanksgiving. I wanted to try. I said Thanksgiving. I got Thanksgiving on the brain now. I wanted to live stream last night for sure. I thought it'd be a fun one to do, but man, even when I leave the bucket out, people kept ringing the doorbell. You know, so like it's not gonna work. And the kids, of course, were excitable. They were, you know, the little one, her favorite thing in the entire world is candy. So this is her favorite holiday. So it worked out to be way too late. But yeah, you realize that's the first day off I've taken in a while too. You know, because I don't like missing days, you know, but I'm glad to be here with you all today. And thank you. Let's continue.
Hater, because you were the one that had your property, that you had no access to all of your property. You didn't even take your own property with you.
No, I was messing with me, and I was never allowed that.
Yeah, that actually doesn't make sense either. If you're not going to take your own property, why would you take somebody else's property? You know, that doesn't make sense. Actually, you know what? We have just a few super chats. Let's hit them and catch them all up, and then we'll do them right in the moment. I like that. Max Lab, thanks for the super chat. By the way, Max Lab, props to you, brother. You know, you've helped out a lot with keeping up with cases and stuff, and you are very much appreciated. Thank you, my friend. Fallen Hero, thank you too. Appreciate you, man. You've been out here forever, sir. Every live stream, everything here. Appreciate you, my friend. Cannot say that enough. Andre, thanks for the 2. Glad you're back. I was going into withdrawal. I know. I do the same thing. I'm like, oh no, I need to be on. What's going on? Oh no. What's up? March's Homestead, thanks for the 20 for Luck's birthday. I lost Mr. P on 10/22 and have been out of sorts. I'm a bit better now. Your hugs from Grammy. Well, hey, love to you. You know what? You come here, let's laugh at stuff. Even, you know, we say laugh at it, but even if we're invested, again, it just gives you something to throw your entire mind into some days. That's what we need. But also know that you're loved here and appreciated, you know, for sure. You're loved here enough that I butcher your name. Come on, man. You know, I mean, that puts you in great company. Seriously, though, love to you. And, you know, again, if you need stuff, you know, reach out, talk to people. And again, if it gets to the point where you need more, remember, always make that known. But love to you for sure. Recent, thanks for the 10. Retired dentist in my hometown, under 1,000 population, at least 300 kids at the door. Yeah. Besides, I mean, toothbrush, every kid got a hot dog. That's awesome. You know, we have a church down, my mom and my stepfather are associated with, and they have like every year they have multiple like giveaways and stuff, you know, backpack drives, all of that. But they have they put together a little well, I hate to call it little, it's big. They put together bouncy houses and all this other stuff. And the way they keep up with how many people show up is they give away a hot dog. You know, they give you a ticket at the beginning. Everything's free, but they give you a ticket and, you know, you exchange it for a hot dog. That way they get a count, right? And you could, you can only get so, because again, you know, they run out otherwise. But the last time that they did it, they had over 3,000 people for that. It was like, good Lord, you know, with a tiny town. So last night, though, we had, God, I know we had over 100. I know we had over 100 people. I know it. It was wild. It really was. Because I was going back through looking at the size of some of the groups that came through. I've never seen them that big since I was a kid. I haven't, so it's crazy. AKA the Catlin, thanks for the 16 months. Do you have your songs available for download on your website? There's a couple up there. I need to put them all out though. I need to do that. But yeah, there's a couple up there, and I do need to put them all up. I may start doing that. I have not done anything, and I need to do this again with some of the exterior sites. So I think that would be a good way to get back into them, you know. But yeah, I think that's a good thing. Thank you. Andre, thanks for the 2. LP just gets deeper into your own delusional world. Things get crazier all the time, don't they? They do, don't they? Also, Jack's Mom, there's 3 more, and then we'll be caught up, and I'll catch them as we go. So I like doing this when we do videos. That's why I'm doing it now. Jack's Mom, thank you for the gifted membership there. Thank you, Jack's Mom. I appreciate you very much, dude. By the way, I was thinking about doing something. What do y'all think about this? You know those squishy things that like Jeremy sold, like the banana that he sold? You know, they have breadsticks, like squishy breadsticks. And I was thinking about selling some squishy breadsticks. I thought it would be funny. You know, I get the kids to like, quote unquote, sign them. You know, it'd just be kind of a fun thing. And, you know, they're not small. They're about the size of my forearm. But I thought about picking up some. I'm going to find out about the shipping and how that should go and see how that works. But I thought about doing that. I thought that might be really funny. Thank you, Jack's Mom. Appreciate you. K-Bat Red, thanks for the 5 there. Time off is important too, even if we miss you. Well, I appreciate that. I just, this is my time off. You know, it's weird. I get to do this for work, but this is my time off too. This was my time off before. So when it became my job, it's kind of, it's even better. You know, I never feel like I work, which is great. You know, I get a lot of time with the kids too. I mean, like I said, it's a great way to be. And I feel like we do something that matters. So, and Pink Rose, thanks for the 5. We love our Tug and the Littles. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And we love you all too. For sure we do. All right. Now we're going to continue here. Oh, by the way, I noticed something too. I think I'll put these up tomorrow. So there was a video with Dave Neal, and in the commentary, I got sent some screenshots. Guess who was over there whining about the Hales and more? BBB. BBB was up in the comments over there, like stuck in another one of the Megan's friends. Isn't it crazy? So nuts. I have my favorites. Thanks for the 2 there. Hope the girls receive their package. Can you remind me which, again, not to, I might not have, I haven't been over in a couple of days. So let me go over Monday and I'll make sure there's nothing there. And I'll make sure, because I can't remember what my memory is so spotty these days. So I wish we could do, I've never figured out how to do openings live without, you know, a kid jumping in front of a camera or getting a reflection or something like that too. So I wish there was a way we could work that out. We tried it before and it was a mess. So I wish there was a way to make that work. Maybe we'll have some suggestions on that too, because I would really like to be able to do that where, you know, you put it on a table. The only thing is like reflections and stuff, they come up. That becomes a problem. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. But thank you. Thank you. I have my favorites too. Appreciate you.
To the property.
If she had stolen,
And
right.
She told me many times she had checked the VIN. Not me.
Yes.
She said to me she would never have anything on her property.
She said that to me
She
too.
did not check first.
She told me the same thing.
She told me.
Yes.
So why would I think there's an issue? I believe she may have known.
You know what I think?
This is my belief, but she knew beforehand.
You're right.
Since I didn't give it to her, she made sure that
yes.
And I just recall this. She has to borrow money from me. She has to borrow money to get the phone fixed, which was $300. Oh. And that's really where she got mad because I also would not loan her money. I had money at that time, and unfortunately, she wanted it, and I didn't do what she wanted. And that's when she really took that. And that also.
So she wanted to borrow $300 from her, according that seems to be another. We heard Lloyd's statement, and we've heard from other people too. The continually borrowing. I mean, right now we're seeing, or we saw, the request for $1,400 and something, which again, the way I'm understanding it is it was supposed to be $1,000. So here's your clarification. It was supposed to be $1,000 for that down payment which she says now she had all that. It's done. So, but she said $1,000 for the down payment and the $450 like she was asking before. You know, she was asking for 500, but she kept saying she had $50. So that's supposed to be where all of that money. That's how I'm understanding it. So that's, but again, it's asking to borrow more money, you know, and now it's even worse because it's unsecured, which is not good. And what's up, Colleen, by the way? Thank you for the 5. Thank you, Colleen. I appreciate you. Late Halloween treat for the girls. Well, thank you. They definitely will appreciate that. Man, I'm telling you, the amount of candy that came in yesterday was staggering. It really was. You would think the littlest one had robbed a bank or something. The way she treats it, it's like, ooh, she's she's like Gollum with the ring. She's like looking at the candy. She's like, my precious. She loves it. Oh, she kills me with that. Oh, she loves that candy, man. She cracks me up with it. Hey, by the way, too, let's see this through PayPal. Karen, thank you. Sent $25. Thank you for that. Hope it's a good Halloween evening. Thank you there. Appreciate that. You know, I saw the other part too on there. I won't mix one and the other with the comment, but you know who I'm talking to there. Thank you. I appreciate you. That's awesome. I like having a name there too. That's great. Angela said 25 as well. Thank you for the start of November's book fund. Thank you. I've just finished reading King's Sorrow from Joe Hill. I'll tell you all about that later too. So I need to kick up another thing. But that was interesting. I'll tell you about it. And one more, and then we'll continue. Rickles. And thank you all again. Love to you all. Rickles, suggestion. The kids, you wear 3 masks. Oh yeah, the 3 little masks. You know, I've got those. It's cool because I've got them displayed with my other masks. I have to take a picture because I have a bunch of the guy that makes my masks I wear to different conventions. He also he has a Jason Voorhees movie used press. And he makes props out of it. So I have about 5 prop masks into my own and those on there too. I love it. So thank you too. I love masks. I absolutely do. Those are cool. Thank you, ma'am.
So was the phone that she said had all kinds of evidence that she needed in JH's issue.
What evidence could she possibly have against him?
I don't know.
That doesn't even make sense.
I don't know. Like messages and screenshots.
Well,
because she needed to get to the pictures and the phone was
They would
broken.
still be there.
So she needed to get it fixed, and it would have been $300. And I
yes.
had she.
Why not take part of the money if that is a legit story, as in something she's claiming that she has a phone that has $300. If it is a do or die moment. Don't you think Bruce would pay $300 to have a phone fixed if there was evidence that buried Hales on a phone? Again, you only need $300 around. Don't you think they would have fixed that and put it out into public by now? They wouldn't wait for the courts. They would absolutely shove it out into public. I believe, in fact, what would happen these days with 2L and them hurting for numbers so bad that they would probably port some stuff over there too. You know, I'm not saying LP would, but I'm saying I wouldn't put it past Bruce. I don't think LP would give them anything because of the way that has gone. But I think they would have definitely put all that out into public if it existed, not just in a case, but you know. So the claims that I need 300 for it, they would. You know, or they have devices that are sitting around that need repair, but they have all this evidence on them. You know, they would have fixed them by now. They would happily fix a device. Happily. By the way, Lynette, you need to invest in carrying everything forward. You can transfer anything from one phone to another. Absolutely. It's as simple as a click. If your phone is damaged, you can still do it. I've broken phones. I've broken screens. There are recovery programs. You can take it. I could absolutely recover anything from a phone. Send it over. I could absolutely recover anything unless you have formatted that phone. If I can't do it, I can find somebody that can recover anything. So again, no story about needing $300 to fix a phone just for evidence. If there's evidence, I would love to see some evidence. Like I said, I would love to see it. I put out that challenge because I would love to see it. Let's continue.
Fortune being there already.
She
And
did.
I didn't want to loan her money.
She did finally get some texts off of there. Look, everything she told me was not matching up with what I
Right.
saw coming my way in records, in public records, even in conversations with JH. So
Yeah.
I saw a lot of those messages, and everything he said is exactly what happened. Here's the
Right.
thing. Here's the thing I found out about him. In the beginning, I was believing her just like you were, I'm sure.
Yep.
She started telling you terrible things about him, and you thought, oh my gosh, I've got to protect my friend. I'm sure you were like,
Right.
what is going on here? And that you started calling on me. You've got to help her. She's a victim, and this and that. Well,
Right.
I believed her first because she is very convincing. And
Absolutely.
and I thought, if this guy's really doing what
She's elderly, and again, I think this is a flattering thing to say for elder. Even the worst person, when they get to a certain age, they remind us of our loved ones, like our grandmas or our beloved aunts or whomever, and we see that on them. We don't see, like, when you're younger, you can feel it on them, but age is almost like this second skin sometimes, and it distracts. And she can come off at first, as long as it's limited interaction. I think she can come off with something until you look at a story or you put pressure. If she's under any kind of pressure, it doesn't. But she's been weaving tails for a long time. And you have a kid that's in there. They also work as a bludgeon too. All of that, it comes together. Absolutely. Jack's mom, thanks for the 5, by the way. The Fleesa has it, doesn't she? She supposedly has a tablet, and I'm not sure phones or everything. They said evidence. So we've heard that, according to LP in some statements in one of her chats, she had sent everything over to 2L. So if there was anything damning, there's no way they wouldn't have put it out. There's no way. You've seen they put out every scintilla of evidence, quote unquote evidence. You know what I mean? I like to put that in parentheses. But yeah, I don't think there was anything useful to them, just in her head. Fleesa threatened Shara with it. Yeah, she threatened her with a tablet, is what it was, though. But as far as we understand, there were supposedly recordings and more about Shara, but nothing was ever produced. It was one of those threats. Weirdly, too, Belitho didn't seem to have a problem with 2L and them and all these people threatening a witness either. That's one thing that really disturbed me as well, because you have a witness against people and they were being threatened and intimidated. So, and bam, thanks for the 5 there. So glad you took time off. I know the girls were happy too. Oh yeah, they had a blast. They did. They very much did. And thank you too. I appreciate you. Yeah. They love Halloween. They absolutely do. Halloween, birthdays, and Christmas. That's the kid trifecta. Those are always the good times. The little one's funny now. She's got it in her head for Christmas. She was like, "You know what I need, Dad?" I was like, "What do you need?" She saw a refrigerator. It's not one of those, those little bitty dorm ones, like a little cube square one. She's not talking about that. We saw one that's it's close to her height. Those that are about the size of a little kid, but you could put drinks and stuff. She's like, "Oh, I need my own refrigerator." I was like, "Why do you?" But she has been on this kick with that thing for months now. It is the only thing. She's not talking about toys or anything else. She's talking about, I want a little refrigerator. Why? So I can have my own drinks and, no sissy, nobody that can touch them, and I can keep my candy cool. Like, okay. It's such an interesting thing for a 6-year-old to be like, I need a little refrigerator, not a toy. I need a little real one.
saying, how can I walk away and not help a child? Like, this is crazy. She told me some very disturbing things about him that turned out not to be true in what I collected.
Absolutely.
And there
Absolutely.
came a time, she always told me she never hit the child. But then evidence...
That's not true. That's not true.
Did you witness her hitting her? Because there are things that came up.
She spanked her and she popped her in the mouth.
How many times do you think?
Whoa.
Do you think she did the mouth thing? Because there was something that happened.
Remember how many times? No. She did it a lot.
Oh, you know how I know this is true? What you're telling me? Because let me tell you the moment that I'm actually going to cry even thinking about this moment, because you know I'm deep in this thing. Okay.
First of all, it's horrible allegations right there that happens. Not only that it happens, but it happens often. You know, because I mean, I don't. There's not even words for it. Not even words for it. But to say that it happens often, again, it just so nasty.
I saw JH change in one moment in front of my eyes, because he put out a video. It was an audio conversation with the sheriff department. It was a phone call, a 911 call. In that 911 call, and I didn't collect that record because it had something to do with property lines with one of our neighbors or something. It wasn't really related. Yes, it wasn't really related. So I it was one record, or there were a couple I didn't get, but that was one that I didn't, until Jeremy, I'll say his first name.
Sorry.
Sorry. Until I saw a 911 call. In that 911 call, she threatened. The child was only trying to get normal attention. When you're on the phone, children, they want to crawl up your leg. They want to be hugged. They want their juicy juice. Children.
All kids want attention, by the way. It's like this. I have a chair that I like to sit in. It's a recliner. It's got one of those little electronic, instead of having a lever, you raise it with a little remote control, right? Pop it up and down. It's comfortable. It helps my back and stuff. But the little one, she loves, if I'm sitting in it, she loves to sit on it with me. And she just wants attention. If I'm ever on the phone, if she hears the phone spark up, it's not about the phone. It's that she wants to be there. She wants to be part of things. That it's part of feeling affection. It's part of being wanted. And kids also knows it too, but it's all part of being part of, I feel like I'm singing a Little Mermaid song. I was going to say it's part of your world, part of your, never mind. But you know what I mean. Little kids that age. See, my kid is right at that age. That's about the same age. So those behaviors that you see, of course. I mean, and you as the caregiver, you're more than anything. I always like the saying that mother is the name of God in the mouth of small children, because they don't understand. They don't understand religion. They don't understand anything. They understand one thing that all of their world revolves around. It revolves around the caregiver, that parent that they're always around. They love you more than anything. And, can they be trying? Yes. But you reward that. You still reward it with love. Or, again, you find an appropriate way to tell them, stop.
Children always want our love. They always want our love. And she was never gentle on any phone call I had. She was never gentle with that child. And I heard things which I'm going to get into at another time, some very, very, I don't even know how to put it. Anyway, I heard in that phone call with the sheriff department, her threatening to hit that child in the mouth.
Yeah, I heard that.
When I saw that video,
we saw it though. I mean,
you saw that video where he put that audio?
No, we saw her pop her in the mouth.
How many times do you think she did that? Was she doing it every day, do you think, or was she doing it occasionally?
Probably every day. I would.
See, that is not. Listen, I know some people believe in corporal punishment.
Well, here's the other thing I don't think anybody brings up. When you tell a child they're going to do so, like if I tell my child that I'm going to make them stand in a corner or something, right? They have to understand what you're talking about. So to say that you're going to spank them in the mouth, that has a real world anchor. So I think it would be very correct in assuming that that has happened and the child understands what that is.
Some don't. Corporal punishment is never, ever, ever has anything to do with hitting a child in the mouth. And that is why when I heard that audio
It's also
of that
not
sheriff
casual.
call,
It's not casual either, for people that, I myself do not spank my kids. I don't do it because, the way I was raised, no. my kids, I can get onto them vocally and everything else, and it will work just as much as that. I don't do that. And again, that's not judgment on people that do, but it shouldn't be something that's just thrown around haphazardly, willy-nilly. You shouldn't be, that shouldn't be your first line. Your first line, it should be corrective, hey, don't do that. Hey, you tell a kid that's wrong. And then if they keep doing it, then you're like, hey, you can raise your voice then. Your voice is a very good deterrent. For me, like if I get stern, if I get mad, it comes out. The bass drops in my voice. You can hear, my voice drop when I get mad a little bit. And for the kids, like if I've gotten to that point, then that is a good deterrent, and also removing things from them. Hey, that thing you like, well, you lose it. You don't take it away for days either from a 5 or 6 year old. You take it away in segments, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. Then you come back and you gauge it that way, because a kid, if you punish them for too long too, they don't remember why things happen. So you don't have to, hitting them in the mouth. No, come on, man. It's just, it's so awful to even think about, man. Granny, thanks for the $5 there. Who reported the camper stolen? I thought LP called the cops because she thinks it's stolen. Cops confirmed it was. I thought that's the way the story went. And the interesting thing is, again, the way Jamie's noting this, she said, well, LP had told her that anything on her property she checked out beforehand. So, if it were there, that way she wouldn't have any problem. So, that runs into some oddity in itself. And again, here's the thing. There's been a lot of blowback aimed at Jamie Johnson from the ecosystem saying, hey, this person, there's X, Y, and Z about them. Substances come up a lot, for example. And again, for me, my response is, why then were they there? And it would be, I would understand if there was a denial in saying, well, I didn't know about that. But the allegations are that they came that way and they had so much problem with functioning that they couldn't even function for days at a time. They couldn't do this or that, but they were around. See, the time period, I didn't realize the time period was so long. I thought we were just talking about some brief visitation here. I didn't realize that we're talking about months. We're talking about some legitly long time to have somebody around.
she told me she never touched that child. I have it in text.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that at the end of my video where she said she said she never.
Her in the butt too.
Well, she told me she never did, and then I also heard a CPS call where she told CPS that she does hit her. So I began to have great concerns at that point, and I saw Jeremy in that video, and I saw his face. Everything changed in that moment for me. I swear I saw like a white glow around him, because at first I thought, when I watched his videos, I thought, wow, God, that really confused me. But in that moment when I saw the way he spoke about that audio, and I looked at him and I just saw his face and his expression and his concern, I knew that he was telling the truth. I knew it.
There you go, because
he's another one. He's another one. I'm going to tell you, heart to heart, from me to you. Every record I ever collected on you matched up to everything you said to me. I love you for it.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell you every record I collected in this case involving him and what he said in his videos have proven that he did not lie. Now, there were a couple times
And of course, she made me into a liar as well.
Well, me too. I believed her. I believed her.
Well, there's the thing too. You notice, like Shara was somebody that they 100% endorsed. They talked about her as the most important factor in this case at sometimes, you know? I mean, if you go back and you listen to them hyping her up, the hype is unreal considering the way that they were like, and then they turn on her and they're like, you never did anything. You never provided anything. You know, you never did anything for Lynette at all. And it's like, well, wait a minute. How can you have it both ways? Like, it can't be both, right? You can't have, you can't be a miracle worker and yet be just some total piece of trash at the same time. You know, it's amazing. Once she didn't walk that line anymore. And there's so many people that have had that finger pointed at them too. And after a while, again, even, you know, there have been some terrible people too. I think, again, many of the people in the ecosystem, there were some pretty awful ones. I would agree with that, but you can't have everybody. It doesn't work that way. After a while, it's like, wait a minute. There may be, you know, after a while, you can't point outward, you point inward and say, maybe there's a problem myself.
Right.
Jamie, she had me trying to work on, well, you know me, I don't like to see people get arrested for crimes they never committed.
Right.
That is my thing. I'm really into the criminal cases. I always have. That's been my thing. I've handled some big ones. So,
absolutely,
in my view, I didn't want to see her go to jail or anyone else go to jail for things they didn't do. That was the main reason that really got me involved. And then it became, what can I do to help this child? I got to get her in a home. I started working on that whole part of the case. But then when I started collecting the records, and I was even, you know, going to help her, you know, if he's really doing the things they're saying, you need to get the evidence. You need the evidence of this. Like, I started collecting records to try to find that evidence.
Right.
But I didn't find evidence of him doing any of the things that she told me he was doing. I found evidence that showed me what she was doing. Evidence that contradicted things that she was telling me. Everything.
Everything.
Everything. And I was completely floored by this. But I was at the point where I was working on that grant, the Home Depot grant to get the home. You know, everything else that was happening around me was overwhelming, but my focus was, okay.
You notice they never bring this up either. This is something in the ecosystem they never want to talk about because it's an inconvenient piece of the puzzle. They never talk about the Home Depot grant. You're talking about having an outside party that may well have paid for her home. A party that would have involved no one having to fundraise. No one having to go out of their way or do anything. And in fact, if Shara were able to put that together, then why couldn't someone in the ecosystem do the same? See, that's the other question too. You know, these grants, they absolutely do exist. People that are in the, you know, they can sell a story. And Lynette could definitely sell a story there. She could sell a story about her, the kid, the way they're living. They could definitely have gotten that and put it forward. Why never go that direction? See, it's a bit of, like I said, it's an inconvenient truth there. It's also, if Shara was such a monster, why was she trying to help out with things like this? Shara did. Shara was putting in the work for a while. You know, she was also one of the few people that was willing to go out there. And she did. See, like I've said before, you can go out and you can exchange jabs and barbs, you know, and goof off and laugh at each other and make fun of each other. And we do that, you know. She would take her shots. We'd take our shots. And it was fun. You are allowed to take shots at people. You know, that's the thing that the entire ecosystem, they lose the plot on. You know, there's a difference. You can laugh and think about somebody being awful. They say they're going to sue people when people do that, by the way, even though they interfere with businesses and more, but they go beyond that. Like, Shara has been an interesting one to watch develop on this, though. Like, to see that she was pulling records, she was putting together something. It's just, you know, I guess over time, I guess the way I understand it is, Shara kept pulling items, and she's being told a certain story that revolves around a kid, saving a kid, and she's also got plenty of people to try to keep her in line. You know, whether that's a BBB or whomever. You know, there's plenty of people in the ecosystem all too willing to keep you in line. Well, she's not putting out items because she's finding conflict. I think even before she really admits that, I think she probably found issue in some of the stuff that she was seeing. You know, I've ran into some stuff like that before. I've ran into things where I've looked at it and I'm like, you know, I can't answer this question, or I can't answer that question. Therefore, I don't think I'm going to talk about this, you know, and that does happen. That does. And you can find yourself. I've found myself looking at something and, you know, people trying to mislead you too. So I can see where you get there. But I mean, this stuff is crazy at the level, just the insane level that it's at.
Whether I'm out or in, I know I'm leaving. I'm getting out of her case. Like, this is my mindset. But I don't want to leave until I get that kid in a house.
Oh, I know.
I didn't want to leave her.
It's the perfect weapon, man.
And I had to.
There's other
I never even got to say goodbye.
Oh, that's devastating. But here's some other things
You
that happen.
know how many people write me about things like that? They say, well, I worry about with the kid or this or that. And I'm like, you know, first of all, do not contact anybody associated. Let me say this again, just making it clear to everyone. Don't contact anyone associated with this that we talk about. Do not contact any government agencies or officials. Nothing. Don't contact anyone. Just watch it play out, you know, and see what's there. And again, make judgments yourself. But a lot of people still bring up, hey, what about the kid? Ultimately, you can't do anything for the kid. You can't. Like that's the reality is that the only person that has control over that kid is their guardian. And the only people that can change that are not going to change that. So currently, as things sit, there's nothing you can do about it. But there are a lot of people like Ashara that, again, they've noted trying to hang on and do this or that, but it just ends with you getting played.
Happened that made me, okay, there is one time where she was trying to get the child out of the car, and I did put this out to the public so I can talk about it. The reason I put it out to the public is because there was an incident that was occurring during that phone call that had to be known. It had to be known.
Right.
Because CPS was ignoring signs in this case.
Yep.
Very serious signs. No matter how many times they were called, they were doing nothing. And you and I both know from the history of what we have done in cases that they either take them for no reason or they leave them in serious situations. That's what they do. So in that phone call with her, she told me that Jason.
They also, honestly, they don't intercede in issues where children are living at a low income threshold. A lot of times, you know, they like to get involved in something when they can bilk money out of the middle class or whomever, but you notice they don't like to get involved when there's nothing there to take except for a kid. They like to get their money too.
He had left his G. I don't want to say the word G. I'll call it a G.
Yep.
Power tool. I'll call it a power tool. I like to call it a power tool. He left his power tool in the vehicle. The child was in the vehicle alone. MP was trying to get her to come out. She was yelling at her to come out. She was very, very, very abrasive to her, trying to get her to come out. She didn't want to come out. And she was kind of just, and she said, you know, she's in there moving around all over the place. And I think he left his power tool in the vehicle.
Well, I have a power tool story too. I get a call from her asking me if I can look in the driveway around the property for a pow because JC couldn't find it.
Oh, my
goodness. By the time she got back, I was told that it was in the car the whole time underneath the seat.
Under her seat, the child's seat.
The baby was, and the baby was in the car. Now, she may have been abrasive trying to get her out, but let me tell you how much that poor baby spent, how much time that baby spent in that car.
Yeah.
Wow.
All the time.
Tell me about that.
She'd sit her in there and put her with a tablet.
And leave her in the car?
Yeah, while they were around the property.
Well, I've actually heard her putting her in the car to make sure she could be somewhere while we were talking.
Yeah.
Like if she was busy doing...
Maybe in the car when they'd come home, she'd leave it in the car.
Right.
I apologize.
She wouldn't take her out of the seat. And there's actually... Yes, and you know, it was also seen on a video when the... I don't remember the agency.
Yeah,
there was an agency that came. Well, the officer had to tell her, you know, maybe you should get her out. You should probably get her out. She was just...
Well, that is a thing that you also do. And I hope to God they've done this too. I really do. I hope to God. As a responsible pew owner, I'm going to say, because I have pews. One of the things that I've taught my kids is a healthy respect, to the point that, you know, they're afraid to mess with a pew on their own. You know, you make sure, you know, of course you want to secure your stuff or whatever, or put it out of reach. But even with that, you can't, like, we live in the U.S. South, so do they. So you can't guarantee that everybody is going to have that mindset anyway, you know. So what you do is you teach a kid to have a healthy fear of picking up something, because it, you know, again, the horrible things that could happen with it. And on top of that, if something ever comes up, they need to leave a situation immediately and come find an adult, you know, and to stay away, like if somebody else does it. So, but you always, I mean, like situations like that, you want to have it multi-tiered. If there was ever a moment where a child could be around something, they have been taught some type of responsibility at such a young age that they know, you know, there is no curiosity. They know what they do. They've seen it, the noise and everything else. They've heard it. I mean, if they're going to be around, they should hear it. And again, they should see the kind of damage it does, you know, to like an item or something, because it's something, it's not a toy. And little kids, you know, they, I'm afraid with stories like that, that's a terrifying story, because that right there, it might not just take a life, that it may, God, could be just so many horrible situations. I don't even want to get into those, but my Lord. That's a terrifying story.
Left sitting in that car seat while they worked around doing things, because she could keep her.
Well, at least she was in the car and had AC. At least.
But you know.
But it was not good.
No.
It was long periods of time.
It's not good. And I know when they go to court, they leave her in the car for hours with JC.
Absolutely. There was several times that she was left. In fact, when we went to the hospital thing, I don't even recall what it was, but we were left in the car. I have pictures where I actually got her out of the car and we walked around a little bit into the parking lot. It had some, you know, trees and stuff. I don't recall. It was some kind of doctor's appointment for, you know.
That's the other thing I don't understand with the stories that come up. How do you take the stories they tell about Jamie, and then you have these pictures of her with access to a kid, walking the kid around, doing stuff on her own with the child? How do you, again, with the stories that you're saying from go, she's this terrible thing, Not, hey, I found this out after a while. She's this horrible thing. Therefore, how do you go with that from go and still give access like that? I mean, that just really bothers me. Like when I hear that. Again, I'm not hearing a story of I found out this person was bad over time. I'm hearing, hey, they came down and right away they couldn't function, they couldn't do this or that. Her and John, they both come out and made statements about the Jamie Starr Johnson thing. Again, it'll be interesting. I throw all this stuff out there too. So I know that she put out a lengthy statement at one time with Jamie for the first half. We'll see if she puts out a second half one. Let's continue.
Her, but we were all left in the car for at least an hour.
Well, let me ask you a question. Was JC at home?
Yeah, he was home. He was in the car.
Why couldn't she leave the baby with him?
Because she didn't want to ever leave him alone with him.
Well,
allegedly.
that's a question too.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Why?
She accused him of inappropriate behavior.
Yeah, she told me some things, disturbing things. Let me ask you this. Your relationship with JC, was it very bad from the get-go, from the start?
I find that to be horrible. I find that right there. Like that isn't a statement you brush out. I'm not saying that Shara is, by the way, or anyone is. But the allegations that I've seen in print, they disturb me. And, we've seen allegations made. And with those allegations, and even with allegations saying that he does X, Y, or Z to her, I mean, if he would do them to her, then what would make that arrangement safe for a little one? Again, that is not a call to call someone or anything. I'm just saying it disturbs me, man. Do not contact him. It just won't help. But, what a mess there. Hey, Becky, thanks for the 5. The interesting thing is when the trespass 5, where the deputy told LMNOP not to lock the baby in the camper. That's true. The interesting thing about trespass 5 that really blows my mind, Lynette Preston sues the police. And according to everything that we're seeing, they still decide that they want to throw in with Lynette Preston. It's just is mind-blowing, It is absolutely mind-freaking-blowing sometimes to see that the Dan Owens allegations and more. Just, it's crazy. That really makes me think, corruption? Okay. Continue.
Absolutely.
Was he
was very, 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 very mean.
Was he abusive toward you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He called us names. There was one night, like I said, he started screaming out of the camper. I tried to record it, but he was screaming out of the camper, yelling at us, calling us names, saying we needed to get off the property right now. He was going to call the police. And that's what made me wonder now, looking back, that they may have known something.
Yeah.
Because I even said something to her, why would he do that? And once again was reassured, I've already checked everything out, everything checked, so you don't have an issue.
Maybe at that point they were trying to find a reason to separate you from your camper.
Oh, absolutely. Looking back on it, absolutely. She wanted that camper. She didn't care what she had to do to get it. And because she didn't get it, that's why I feel like what she did purposely.
And she refused to let...
Sure.
Well, the part that...
She refused to let me have it.
Right. The reason that I know...
my property.
Yes, the reason I know it's true is because you were going to take it, have it removed, and brought somewhere else, and you were going to live in it. And she would not let you come back to take your property.
Nope.
Do you realize how bad that is?
Went to the doctor, and this was the next day. She allowed me to come in, and I did shower and stuff like that. And I stayed one night after my family member. So there would be the one time she told me to leave.
Yeah.
She let me come back for one night. And then that's when I went to the little ER thingy, the little immediate care for my foot, because I dropped the hammer. By the time it was far away. I mean, the town was at least an hour away. I was with family. And she called and told me, or she texted me and said, you need to get here right away. Well, I wasn't looking at my phone. Well, next thing I know, she texted me a message and said, it was stolen. How could you do this to me? And it's gone. You can't come back to the property.
Wow. Like 1 minute your home is there and the next minute it's gone. And not only is it gone, here you are in the middle of nowhere, many states away from your home, right?
Yep.
And you have your vehicle. You don't have your guy with you because he got himself out of there.
Well, it's interesting that not only that, but, you know, again, everything was copacetic until it was gone. So again, all the other allegations is okay, but the camper thing, you can never come back because of that one. None. Again, it's just, it's all wild. This whole thing is wild, you know. Crystal, thanks, fine. Why doesn't Sharon and Jamie take all their evidence and proof to DCF headquarters? Would they say, I would think they would out of concern for the child. Well, they won't do anything. I believe that there has been one report, at least, with them for concern, but they don't do anything. Like, ultimately, they do nothing in this case. They have decided that with everything that's going on with that this is just some YouTube drama. Or again, you can look at it, I guess you could look at it one of two ways. You could either think that, well, that's the reason, or you could think there's some other more nefarious reason. I'm not alleging anything in that, but they are not going to do anything about it. You know, with every allegation, they have looked at that, and for whatever reason, I mean, if there is any kind of care plan or any kind of changes, I mean, if there's some kind of environmental concerns, and again, I'm not saying there are, but that, you know, people bring that up sometimes and they say, well, maybe there's a care plan in place. Okay, well, that would be about environmental concerns. That would not be about anything like this, you know, the other stuff that you're talking about. So, I mean, just reality is they're not going to do anything about it. So,
Want no part of that. He couldn't take it.
He couldn't take it.
He got out of there.
Paid for a bus ticket to go home.
Oh, yeah.
And then pay for another bus ticket for him to come back and help me get home.
Oh, my, because you needed help driving home. You were overwhelmed at that point.
Oh, I could, and we had that trailer, and I had just had my transmission. My transmission went out
while you were there. Oh my God! So there you were. Like, this is like your life. Your life was literally turned upside down in an instant.
Upside down.
Which is how I feel with my life in a different way. It is definitely turned upside down. I'm not going to get into all that because it's not about me. It may become about me at some point because of some things people are trying to do, what they're trying to do to me. But right now, it's not about me. So your life got turned upside down in that instant. You lost
Shara,
precious property.
Here's the thing, Shara. I realize that these people have said that they are going to sue you for this or that or the other, but the reality is they invited you to cover this. They did. They invited you. They invited your opinion. Your opinion does not have to match up with what they say. So can they sue? Yes, they absolutely can. But I hope they understand, you know, at the end of the day, the guy, you know, that's maybe telling the guy or guys or people that are telling them that, you know, they can sue and they can do this or that. They're not going to be the ones holding the bag if it ever happens. It's going to be LP ultimately. If they try to sue in the name of these folks, it'll blow up in their faces. I'm telling you, there are things out there that these folks, I won't ruin this surprise. Let's just say, if there's ever a lawsuit launched for me, you know, they try to come for me, for example. wait at that. Yeah, why don't you do that? Why don't you throw them all in there? Say that. Let's see how the response to that is handled, you know. Let's see, because I'm telling you, like, there's a couple of surprises, woo, baby, you don't know about yet, but they definitely would not work out there. But the same thing with Shara. Like, Shara was asked to come in to cover this. They loved her until her opinion was different. So the messages and stuff she showed, they didn't deny their authenticity. They just wanted to say, oh, can't talk about that because part of the legal team, which is so ridiculous, you know. You can't cover up for what somebody thinks is a crime, by the way. But saying a journalist is part of your legal, that's so weird. Anyway, let's continue.
Yeah.
things that were sentimental to you.
Yep.
And on top of this, a sheriff deputy instructed her to return all your property to
Yep.
you. And she
immediately I was told
refused.
it was gone.
She
It
refused.
was all gone.
She knew what
She
the...
refused.
Yeah, well, I'm going to put... That's going out in the end of this interview because that is evidence that she knew that that property was yours and that the sheriff told her to give it back to you.
Yep.
That was his instruction.
Why not pursue it?
Yep.
Devastating.
She even asked about my food. Could she take my food out?
What?
But they didn't allow her to.
She wanted to take stuff from your camper. I could say, in my opinion,
To
that she
take
was
her
in that camper
food?
up and down before calling anybody.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Tell me about the money missing, that part.
I mean, I had several $100s that were placed in there for my trip.
And where was
And
it?
whenever I got everything back, there was no money in there.
The money was gone?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
So
that
when you-
mirrors other allegations that we've seen with another person too. You know, there were allegations about money in a camper, not being there, money disappearing. Remember those? Because I very well remember those.
You were able to get the contents of the inside of the camper, some of the things on the inside. When you checked where your money was, it was gone.
It was gone. I also had some,
Police department didn't touch it.
and the police department didn't touch it at all.
Well, of course they
Neither-
didn't.
And the people, whenever I went out
The
and finally
police-
got my property, the people that towed it
Yeah.
absolutely had not been in it. All they did was plug the electricity in
Yep.
for the food. But
It-
of course, by that point, after that, it was all ruined.
And it would have been unlawful for any of them to go in there and do anything with the
Right.
property that's in there. So,
And they had to use one of the cords, and that didn't come home. I believe that was their cord, correct?
Oh, we bought that.
Oh, we bought one, and they didn't give that back either.
so that expensive cord was left there, and it was also your property.
We spent over $500 to run the lines from the
Wow.
actual meter to our camper. She kept all of that.
Oh,
Wow.
All the we had to buy a longer sewer thing, didn't we? We had to buy that. That was not there. All of our stuff.
Cord that came with wasn't there.
Yeah, all the electric cords that came with it weren't there.
and lots of tools and things like that that you had in.
Oh yeah, he had all his tools in there. We had just bought him new tools.
Oh.
We had new sets of tools underneath in some buckets
Your ex gave you.
that my ex had given him.
Mm-hmm.
We had like a leaf blower. We had weed
It
eater.
sounds like a
we had-
nightmare. It literally sounds
It
like a
was.
nightmare. It almost
We had
seems
a
like,
pressure washer there.
We had two of them.
I mean, just tons of stuff
yeah,
that were just stolen.
yes.
And at first, her story was the police took it, and when I said, "Look,
Oh,
none
they
of that
didn't.
stuff's in there,"
I know they
told me
didn't.
it was trash.
They definitely didn't, because I have the evidence to prove that they did not take it. They did not.
Oh yeah, and they instructed her to give it back. to
Yes, they did. I have
me. She
it.
did not. She stole my property.
Yep.
I've given you a list. At one point.
Yes, I have the
gave you all
list.
my-
I can
and
still
it is
access that. Yep.
Absolutely huge.
Yeah, it's a very big list.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Would be all of your
And the other
property
good thing is too, in there you gave me, real-time messages while it was actually happening. Sometimes over time we forget, but you're always pretty accurate. But sometimes we leave stuff out later because we forget. It's already quite a while later. It's like a couple years later now.
Right.
So,
right. I've got my own life living in my own life.
Yes, and I can go back and read while things in real time are.
By the way, when I know you can take her to, I don't know what the time period would be on something like this. But if there's property that's missing that the police said that was supposed to be turned over and was never turned over, you can go to small claims court about it. I realize people will say, well, the cost. But when you're talking about claims that are under a certain amount, you can go to court about them. You can actually go after your, if not your property, which, that, good luck. But if the police have actually mentioned specific property and to turn it over and there was nothing turned over, then you could theoretically sue over something like that. Just to say. So I'm curious, why no litigation on that? Why not go after? I would. I don't care if my if the thing was the vehicle itself like that, the property inside, if that is legal and it's supposed to, again, be turned over, why not go after it?
Or really where it's at. So I can go back and read what happened in real time, but some of your more serious memories, like obviously if she's, did she do it like a slap in the mouth, like a backhand, like what kind of?
Like a pop
That's
in
true,
the
it is
mouth with
Lady County.
the palm of her mouth is what
The
I
palm?
saw. I'm not sure if my partner saw.
Did the baby cry?
I would say that my partner said that they recall her using the back of her hand, like in the car.
Gosh. Oh my God. And you know what?
There was an incident with a cupcake that I absolutely was shocked
What?
at how she reacted.
What?
We went to the store. I bought some cupcakes.
Yeah.
Not thinking. I set them next to the baby.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, I turn around and the baby's covered with blue icing.
Oh.
It was cute. I have
Yes.
pictures of it. I think
Yeah,
I've
that's
given to
happened.
you.
Adorable.
Where I was like kind of laughing about it.
Yeah.
Where she was just absolutely angry. She had a condition, and how could I give her this and put him too close? And now she was in trouble for eating this cupcake. And all she did is, she's a kid.
Yes,
You
of
said,
course.
it was my fault in the sense that I'm the one that set the cupcake next to
Yeah,
her.
but was she angry?
Indeed. If you're going to blame someone, don't blame the child in that situation. You would blame the adult. I mean, if there was a concern, again, and again, you can be concerned in there, but you would blame the adult. The adult would be the one 100% at fault. A kid, you stick a cupcake in front of a kid's face. Holy crap, man. That's like asking Pac-Man not to gobble down power pellets.
Really thinking she might get into it. But she's angry at the baby.
She was angry at the baby. What did she say to the baby?
Oh, I don't remember everything.
Was she yelling at her?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, abrasive, like very...
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what word for word, but yeah, she was angry at that and angry at me.
It's horrible. Would they curse at each other and things like that in front of the baby? Say like,
oh my God,
got out to get ice. That's when she got into cupcake.
Oh. Yeah, that's right. It was there too. We got out to get ice and stuff, and that's when she got in the cupcake. But she was very angry. But what did you ask me? I apologize. Did they yell and cuss in front of her?
Yeah.
That's all it was. That's all they ever did. It was constant screaming and yelling. We'd be in the camper, and we would try to stay away. I think I've heard this from somebody else that used to live there, too. They would try to stay away in the camper because all it was yelling and screaming.
There was an older gentleman that had stayed there a while.
Yeah.
And there were times when his camper was entered behind his back, and I know this because there was a time where guess what? You know what I just thought of? Listen to this, because it just brought my memory. See, there's so much in this story, it's hard to remember everything at once.
That's right.
It's insane. I've never seen anything like this other than...
It is. It's hard to remember this. This is why, again, when people are like, why not cover other things? Man, how? How do I cover more? I mean, there are so many cases, so many players. It goes over such a long time span. On top of it, you have all this stuff that's happened with God, it's so much to keep up with. It's difficult, and that's with a lot of people watching too. That's why, again, I appreciate many of you that keep up with this, many of you that point things out, many of you, because there is no way that one person or even a dozen people can keep up with this. It is just so mental, and there are so many moving pieces of it.
And the standoff, that was kind of crazy too. But what brought this to my mind just now is I may actually have audio evidence of her in your camper, because she wanted to go in your camper, and I said, well, you probably shouldn't do that unless you're recording. Like, I don't think you want to just go. I didn't want her going in there without evidence that, like, I wanted to make sure it was documented what she was doing. So
Well, there's video evidence of the Lloyd that she did enter Lloyd's camper. I mean, there is absolutely evidence. We saw that she took video while she was there. So I mean, that ended up getting posted, which was wild in and of itself. I was like, why would you post that? Oh, it's because Levy County won't care. ultimately. Levy County doesn't care about anything.
I'm surprised she didn't plant something in there.
Like what? Like what? Oh
Like
gosh.
drugs or something.
Oh my gosh, that was my worry. That was
Yeah,
mine.
I mean,
She could have.
I was terrified of what I might find in there.
Oh my gosh, that's scary. And then can you imagine if the police would have found it and thought it was you?
Right. I mean, I was already in trouble by her story and the things that she said and gave to the cops.
Yes.
I already looked guilty.
Can I ask you a question? And you don't have to go into detail, but did you see little people creeping in the walls?
No.
I know.
No.
I know.
Little people.
Little people creeping in the walls.
Again, so that turned out to be, by the way, that turned out to be a true story though, and not, hear what I'm saying here, and not in the allegation perspective perhaps, but when it was brought up, remember they were saying that Hales was a liar. There had never been any kind of addicts or anything around, and yet Lynette's own allegations talked about that's where the little people in the walls come from. Like, it's one of my favorite weird things that I've heard of before. Somebody taking pot shots at little people in the wall. And again, you got to remember the source. Like, this is a repeated thing. They said, no, that's a lie. That never happened. And it absolutely was stated by, again, whether or not it absolutely happened, again, the allegation of it 100% did exist. Oh my God. This is funny. So I was going through in my little backpack here while I was talking, and I had some cinnamon toothpicks. And I pulled out everything out of this little bitty backpack, right? And I thought I put out the cinnamon toothpick thing. I reached over and I opened this thing and I reached over to reach into it. And it was a thing of, I set it right beside a thing of lip gloss. So I just stuck my finger in this lip gloss. I was like, oh God, what is this? The little people in the walls caused it. Monsters.
Unreal. So were there any other G incidents? I know you had mentioned that the child would try to grab the G's while she was being held in people's arms.
Oh, yeah, I remember that now.
Tell me about that.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that for a minute.
I mean, she'd have it on her hip, and the baby would be on the hip with her, and she'd be reaching for the G.
So the baby was very interested in the G. It looked like something fun to play with.
Well, of course,
well,
kids,
I mean, it was on
you
the
have
hip,
to.
the hip, and, her legs are there, and
You have to.
so always had a G on her, always.
Yeah, they both seem to always have a G on them, which is just, there's a lot of things going on here, Jamie, and I got to say, I've been a part of some of the CPS visits. Like, I've been on the phone.
Yeah.
And I know why they didn't take them. I'm not going to say it now in this conversation, but I know what's going on there. And
I was shocked. I mean, I've seen and lived something that it was inappropriate, but yet here they were. I firsthand have seen this stuff, but what do you do when you're stuck in that situation?
I know.
She's telling me one thing, and I want to believe her. She's been a friend, in quote, friend, this whole time.
Yes, so you want to protect her in a sense, yes.
Right, I just wanted to believe that she was the victim,
yeah.
And it just, she's very, very good at manipulation.
Yes.
And getting you sucked in. It really got bad when John got there.
Yeah.
At first, it seemed okay. How long? It was tolerable. But they did work us to death during that period. But it was at least tolerable. You didn't have them both screaming back and forth.
That's another allegation. That's another allegation that comes up a lot, too. The free labor allegation. Bringing people in, working them, not paying them. Oh, well, you can stay on the property. Okay, well, how many hours is that worth, really? If you have your own domicile and you're just parking said domicile somewhere, how many hours of labor is that parking spot worth? Especially if you're bringing your other stuff, you're bringing cords, money, and other things, what would that be worth? So,
stood nose to nose with him one day when he was going off, about us, and threatening and things like that.
I am so glad you guys didn't get hurt with all that G action over there. Like, that's scary. That is really scary.
I was accused of pow-powing
and you didn't.
I was there.
Oh,
the whole thing is just unreal.
And there's so much to this. I mean,
there's so many moving parts in this situation. It's unreal. It really is. And you don't even know where to
I
begin.
watched bits and pieces, but I chose
Yeah.
to stay out of it.
Good. It's good. That's good. That's best.
It's an unhealthy situation because I still have a lot of emotions wrapped up
Yes.
there. You know,
You
especially
do.
with the baby.
Yes, I know.
There's not a day goes by I don't think about her. There's not a day go by I wish I could hold her and see her little face again. She was a great little gal, and all she wanted was attention.
And
That's
love.
all she wanted.
Yes.
Was love and
Well, it's good. Jamie, honestly, I don't know if there's any positive. It's good. Like some of the stuff, again, Jamie was called I'm going to say, substance user. And a lot of people adopted that. And the source of, many allegations about Johnson weren't just like anything with police or whatever. There were all kinds of allegations, and they did come from LP. So, that was something that until Shara said something about it, I've never really even thought about that. I never thought about who the allegations came from, or going beyond that, what all proof do you have provided? And again, if I believe Lynette Preston, 100%, again, I keep coming back to that. Why leave Jamie on the property then for so long? If she's all these terrible things, and she was all of that for all of this time period, why keep her there? Why continue to? Especially, again, people can go with, well, Fran, okay, well, but it's at the detriment of, again, little ones. So why?
attention.
It's all I ever
and
heard.
That's something she did not get.
Every time I was on the phone, yes.
Only us. Me and my partner. And yeah, that was another thing. My partner wasn't allowed to touch her whatsoever, or play around with her, but he was still around, know. So, but I was able to pick her up, and there was times she'd even yell at me, but there was no masks.
That's very good that the partner didn't have any contact. Again, even if he was allowed, it's good because now, again, you got to think though, allegations can come from anywhere. Him just being there, you can have allegations like that too are dangerous. That's one of the reasons, I talk a lot about false allegations, because false allegations, one of the things that got me interested in this story was the science, the whole discussion about that, because those kind of things, false allegations will ruin you, but false allegations concerning a little one may bury you. So, that's dangerous.
There was I never saw her sick.
Yeah.
I don't even, I believe the tube was placed in her stomach
before
at that time. And
at what time?
Feeding her through that.
When
the second visit.
Okay. Wait a minute.
No,
so was she looking very healthy and behaving nice and normally and eating and healthy? And
always looked healthy. And I have pictures of her eating.
Do you know
I have pictures of her eating regular food.
And that was when you were there. How old was she at that time when you were visiting in Northport that first time?
I would say she was a little over a year.
So about a year old. A little over a year, and didn't have that put in yet. So she was just a carefree little kid.
Yeah, she was a little chunk-a-monk.
Did she ever tell you? Did she ever tell you along the way why she had that done?
Yeah, because she wouldn't eat properly, is what I was understood.
That's not what she told me, and that's not what she told me.
And because of her condition.
Yeah, well but just.
Part of her condition. That's why I think.
Yeah,
this is a very concerning situation. I know you know it in your heart just as I do right now. It's very, very, very concerning, and I'm not a fan of CPS. You know that. Not because I haven't had any terrible experience. No one has done. CPS hasn't done anything to me, but because I've dealt with a lot of people that have had things done to them that are innocent. I don't really trust in what they do. So. It is a torn kind of thing, but I can tell you this. I have never in my life craved for CPS more than I do in this situation.
Yep.
Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? I crave it.
They should take her. In my opinion, they should have.
I know.
They're too engulfed in
there's too much.
And too much involved with the publicity of JH.
Yes,
and what
but
it
it's
brought,
more than
even though
that.
it was negative
It's
at
much
first.
more. It's much more than that. There are things happening. I told you, I think in text at some point, I think it was recently, that something happened on a phone call with me and her. It happened twice, but there was one time where I may have captured it. And what I heard, there are no words for what I heard. It's bad.
Oh, I know. I've lived.
And at the time when it happened,
and at the time I didn't know what to do.
well, I did something. I did something at the time. What happened was, it was in 2023 or early 2024, like when I was already involved in the case.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, it was so disturbing to me. It prompted me to contact someone. I didn't contact CPS, but I contacted someone, and it then wound up being a call to CPS.
Yeah.
Because
but they never do anything.
Well,
and that's part of why when
but here's the thing. Here's the
thing. They didn't do anything. Why would I think they would do anything else?
If I came forward as a witness, they probably would do something. But the problem is, there are people involved in the case that are harming anyone who tries to protect the child. This is a very, very serious situation. But my heart...
I want to tell you, I know we're kind of going backwards here, but in Northport, I know that there's been some issues come up about
CPS.
Biological family.
Yeah.
I showed you pictures of when I went there, and what was told to me is that they were staying in contact.
Yeah.
There was other brothers and sisters.
Yes.
One of the brothers actually came with the other, biological
I saw that. I saw that,
and I captured that because they came to visit the baby.
Wonderful. The baby would have had a full family there. Yes.
And then it was no more after she left.
Yes.
Next thing I know is they don't want anything to do with her.
Devastating.
It was complete misinformation put out there on the fact that biological family didn't want something to do with the baby.
They did.
My understanding was the baby was always going to be able to be in contact with its siblings.
Yes, that is correct.
And that's not what happened.
It's not what happened, and that devastated the family because they felt like they were going to be part of raising her as well.
Right, and I can speak on that firsthand.
Yeah, because you were there around that time.
The grandmother.
Yes.
And the brother, that there was an absolute visit from them.
Yes.
And it seemed like it was very comfortable.
And the mother was was the grandmother very loving and wanted to hug her up and kiss her?
They weren't there that long, but absolutely. They loved that child, and I'm sure they still do.
Of course. I am sure that they are suffering in this situation. They are suffering. They are.
I'm sure. I can't imagine. And I don't really know. I mean, I thought it was all legit.
Yeah.
I mean, she told me she adopted her.
Well, I know some things that occurred, and that's another thing that I'm going to be figuring out, because this is a very treacherous situation, a serious situation. I've been threatened. So I'm
that's why I have not spoke out.
I know. I mean,
I do have fear of repercussions. I know. Was there going to be repercussions between me and him? I just couldn't stay quiet anymore.
No, there isn't.
He asked me to do that, and it's been a couple years. My life, is mine. I'm living my life here, but don't think that I don't ever
think
about that baby.
Me too, every day.
When the things that I see and the things that I have heard, I don't watch a lot, but I have watched bits and pieces of JH's videos, and it's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking.
The environment that child's in is not. If she has this metabolical disease, why is she living in squalor?
Right.
That's not okay.
No, it's not. And you said that didn't the property always have odors constantly, even when you cleaned it up?
Oh, constantly. I mean, because she'd keep bringing in the food and letting it rot. I cleaned that up so many times. And then they had this big trash pile on the trailer.
Unreal.
That would sit there forever. And let me tell you, it's not just the food and the smell. I know that there's been some videos or something with the police where she has made sure she didn't go into the 10 building, the house.
Yeah.
Well, there was times there that she would walk out on the ground and there's glass all over it. Like that front yard was not good.
Yeah.
It had a lot of debris and trash that anybody out there with no shoes could hurt themselves.
Yes.
But the actual 10 building, she said, had tons of, what are those called? Spiders, but specific ones. Black widows in there. And so she also had stuff stored in there
Well, like I've said with black widows, I find spiders and stuff. I find them really, really interesting. So there's a book by this guy called, his name's Gordon Grice. He wrote a book called The Red Hourglass, and it's a pretty interesting introductory read if people want to understand about like black widows. One of the things about black widows people don't get is if you find black widows around, you find one or two, they're within 500 feet. There are going to be many, many more. And within less than a mile, you're going to have thousands of them because of the way that when they're born, they parachute. They walk up on something high, they throw up a piece of silk, and they try to fly. Well, sometimes they'll get caught and they'll go a long way. Sometimes they don't go anywhere at all, and they move in. And of course, many get eaten, but you'll have other ones that do that. And you can imagine how many of them get in an area. They get down into areas, and again, you're finding a couple. You find some those in recluses are dangerous, man. Even the most well-maintained home, you'll find brown recluses can get into, but places that are not kept up, that gets real bad.
And wanted to clean some of that up.
Yeah.
But yet there was black widow, so the baby couldn't even go in there.
No, of course
the baby
not.
was very much restricted to a small area outside, and then the horrific shed. And I showed you pictures of that.
Yeah.
There was a path.
Yeah.
There was no room. It was a prison. That's what we felt like. And I'm sorry to speak up sooner, but at the same time,
I know.
I had to protect myself.
Well, you were scared. It's a scary situation, and that everybody would understand that. There's nothing you did wrong. You had to protect yourself and your family. You had to leave, but you didn't want to leave her behind. I know your heart, and I know how hard this was because these people. There's things there's something that went on in this case, and I've already made it public, so I'm going to talk about it right now for a minute, because it is that significant, okay?
Yeah.
She told me in a phone call, and I may have recorded evidence of this, because I didn't always record. I would always tell her when I was, because I don't like to really impose on people, but we talked a lot at one point.
Right.
But there was one time I was not recording, and I was speaking to her, and she said to me that her and JC were discussing searching for a hitman to kill. So 86, I should say 86. I'll have to redact that other word out. To 86, Jeremy.
Wow.
And I thought to myself when I heard
I know she had such hatred.
Yeah.
Hatred.
That's insane. We have never heard her bring this up publicly. But there you are. She has brought that up. So, think about that. Them trying to find someone. Again, that's a horrifying proposition. Like Shara's saying that. Because they're crazy. Again, when you're talking about crackheads and other weirdos and losers, people will take everything from you for $20. You see it happen. But being offered something a little more tangible, God knows. And you saw statements from Cook for sure talking about his prison pals and stuff. We saw those back when. That, like I said, that's a terrifying thing. They're talking about this hatred, this all-consuming hatred for this guy. For the life of me, I don't understand it all. I've seen people take and blame all of their problems on a neutral party, on a party that's not affiliated with anything they're doing. But this stuff takes the prize when you think about it.
Inside of her that would swell up and was just boiling. Yes.
Anger.
Many times she would say stuff about wishing she could do something. I'm not going to say she said those things.
Yeah, but she would. Yes, but stuff that was.
She could take him, and be on the face of the earth anymore.
Well, that's pretty bad. It's crazy. I thought to myself, oh my God, I didn't record that. How would anyone even believe me? A few minutes later, I called her back, recording. And I told her I was recording. She knew I was recording. And I said, you know I'm recording. And, you're saying this. Did you mean that? Like, why are you saying that? And she told me that she did mean it, that she was serious, knowing I was recording.
Wow.
I'm not kidding you.
That's
it's
wild.
like she didn't care.
And there's another time, and I know I have it somewhere. I haven't found it yet, but I'm searching. Like, I'm spending so many hours looking for it, but I know it's somewhere. There were other things that they said to me that were so disturbing. Like one time, I'm talking to her on a recorded phone call. She agreed to be recorded. Like, she always said I could record her. I'm recording her interviews. I was doing interviews with her. You know how I do it. I did it with you.
Yeah.
I've always done this. This is how I've always done it. So I was recording her, and she said, I need to get him, or he needs to be put down like a dead dog. Okay, normal people don't say things like that.
Wow.
They don't say things like that, Jamie.
Well, I mean, we were there firsthand.
Unreal.
I mean, I don't have any kind of friendship with JH. In fact,
I know you don't.
He came at me a little bit.
I know he did. He came at me too.
Misinformed.
Misinformed, yes.
I've been told that he understands the situation was not as it was.
Yes.
And I can move past that.
Yes,
but
me
I don't
too.
have any affiliation to say, oh, he's my buddy, so
I know. I know you don't. You have no relationship. You have no relationship with him.
We have no net. I have no contact, no relationship, no nothing.
Yes.
I have not talked to that man since I left.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't even ask you that question. What you just said is what has happened to him.
Well, what's funny is, though, everybody gets accused of being in contact and working for and, trying to infiltrate people's lives. I mean, it's just the allegation is always there. So even though that may not be the truth, the allegation is always launched.
You have nothing. Listen, everything you're saying is even matching up public records that I've collected.
Yep. I'm not a liar.
You're not. Everything you said about your property that you left there, everything, all of that, it showed up on the sheriff audio.
It's in the sheriff's video.
Yes, it is.
I could point out, I think I've done that. I might have to send you that. I've pointed out things on the video. I screenshot some and would circle the things that were mine.
Yes.
Still there on the property. Now, this was a call from the sheriff, and that's how I know it was after the time she said she threw everything away.
Yeah.
No, she did not.
She did not.
My parents' thing was right there.
It was all right there. It was all right there.
Right there in the video.
Yes, and he told her exactly what she had to do with it. Exactly. So that,
after that, there's another one.
She should be charged for that. I'm just saying, like, why are you not?
Why didn't she?
Well, did you?
I don't know how.
Did you make?
I'm in a whole other state.
You have to make a police report. Okay, listen, I can get.
Okay, so there was no police report made. So that does answer that question, by the way, of what and why. So, Rhea, right? Hey, thanks for 32 months, by the way. That's a heck of a time period. Thank you. Long suspected. Why not? Had the hots for Jeremy. She doesn't like his responses to her. Then all this started. Hell has no fury, like a woman scorned. Well, it was, there was the allegation that that brought those kind of things into it. Again, not toward her, but remember with Jamie, that was the first thing. So, I don't know. What a mess. What a crazy mess. And the lesson in this too is look what it takes to even get a whiff of justice. Not to get it, because we're nowhere near it yet. But look at the amount of money, the amount of work and more that has had to go out just to try to approach justice. It's crazy, isn't it? The normal person in a situation like this, your average human being could not deal with this stuff. They would not be able to do anything about it. And it's terrible. I hate it for people. I include myself in there. It'd be hard to take on a mob of people. That's why ultimately, and again, these situations are not like what Jeremy has, because Jeremy's approaching this in real life. But you have people that, they'll make some pretty horrible, like trying life ruinous attempts at statements about yourself. And one of the reasons, a lot of people let them sit isn't because they want to. It's because ultimately just the sheer volume, the amount of money, the time, the harassment that comes with it. I mean, again, if these would have just been items that happened online and that's it, with people living across the road or across the way from you, it becomes something, well, a lot crazier. I've never been in a situation like that, thankfully. I hope nobody, by the way. That's crazy. Wheezy Wheels. What's up, Wheezy? How you doing, by the way? Hope you were doing great. Thank you for the gifted membership, too. Appreciate you. Thank you for that. Weezy. Appreciate you.
Put the evidence together, because I have the audio stuff from the sheriff, and all you would have to do is call them and say, listen, you guys made a report about this, but you didn't report my stolen property, and I want to report it now, and there could be an investigation on your property. They have the evidence already that they knew it was there, and they told her to give it to you. They have it.
And there's videos after. The one I'm thinking of was after the fact. It was another police video that I believe JH put out that I might have watched, where it was they came out to the property for something else.
Yeah.
Nothing while I was there, and nothing right when the incident happened. It was after that.
After the camper
I saw that same stuff after the fact.
After the camper was gone?
She kept my property.
After the camper?
Yeah, the camper was gone, and it wasn't even the same incident.
You saw the containers. You saw the containers, like the yellow. Was it like a yellow and
I think I gave you copies of that. I had pictures. I was photographing a frog that happened to be on my containers underneath. So in between the campers, they had a table.
Yeah.
And under that table, I had some of my bins stored.
Right.
As well as underneath the house.
Yeah.
Or the camper, I'm sorry. We had some of the tools and stuff there. We didn't expect to be kicked out.
This isn't also the first allegation about not just property, but tools and more. Tools that, you remember the other allegation that came up with tools and more. And they ended up getting sold. And, Lloyd eventually is like, I gave it to them. But, I mean, just look at the story. You're talking about, over $1,000 in merchandise that Lloyd was bringing up in cash and stuff. And you have her again. I mean, these are damning allegations. They are. They look very bad. I'm sure they'll get an answer too. They usually do. We'll see how that goes. But let's continue.
Without our stuff.
Right.
Why would I not put it in the camper? If I'd known that I was going to be moving it, I would have had a chance to put that stuff in.
Yes.
I wasn't even allowed to move my camper. It was mine, regardless of what happened in the end.
Yes.
That was not known.
Yeah.
At that time, I legally felt that it was mine.
It was yours. Listen,
I was never charged with anything.
No, because you didn't commit a crime. Nobody with you committed a crime. You weren't going to get charged.
Everybody involved was out a lot of money. And I know there's been talk about in lieu of child support. That was not.
Okay, that's what she told me.
So there is a big one too. What about charges? Well, she was not charged with anything as part of that. So that's kind of, that's kind of interesting as far as everything else that was brought up.
Right. And was it because this person felt that they were behind and thought that would be a nice gesture? But that didn't mean it was in lieu. That doesn't happen. You can't turn in a camper as child support.
Right.
No, that does not
That was
work.
never the intent.
Because the state, I don't know if anybody has to deal with any of that, but if you do deal with like child support and stuff, the way that goes is, that's attached to the state. So you can't say, here's you some material, let's exchange that for this. No, that does not happen. That's not how it works, Oh, Lord. That is weird, though. What an allegation, Don't report me if, again. You know, now if you had a thing worked out with somebody, it would have to be off the books. It could not be with regular child support, though.
Right. It was for a home for you guys to do your traveling and stuff. That's what it was for.
Right. It was for me and the kids. Oh, absolutely.
And it's actually, it's very nice that you guys do communicate and do the kids together and all that. The way you guys do is really nice because you both participate, and that's the way it should be. It should always be that way.
That's part of what you do as a parent.
It is what you do.
mean, I have never seen any kind of co-parenting in that environment for my lovely goddaughter.
Yeah.
She can take her away from me, but she cannot take her out of my heart.
No, and I'll tell you, there is not a night that I go to bed that she's not my thought that floats me away to my dreams.
That's another thing too. So here you have two people that were talking about how they cared about the child and had the child pulled out of their lives. You know, that we saw the thing with Lloyd. They talked about too. So the answer on that was typed up on it was that Lloyd was a terrible human being. You know, he's horrible. Therefore, the gift was given back. Okay, well, he was bad. Why was he on the property? I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense to me. Why have terrible people around? Why keep them after you know they're these things? Why would you have them around? See, none of that makes sense to me. Wheezy. Thanks for the 10 there, too. Hey, sorry I haven't been around. I'm in the process of moving. Hey, well, you know what? That's okay. It's all good. You do your thing, but Wheezy. And happy for you. Well, hoping that is a good move. If it is a good you want move, then I'm happy for you there. You know, but process of moving is always work. It's so much work to move. So much freaking work. So you get your stuff done there, though. You look after Wheezy, and we will always be around. And thank you too. Thank you for that, for the tuglets. Appreciate you. You know, but we always appreciate you. I love to see you, and I love to know what's going on with folks, if nothing else. You know, this thing is going to keep going for a while. Like, that's the reality of it. This is not going to stop anytime soon. I hate that for, like I said, for Jeremy, because he's, you know, they've delayed some of the cases. But some of the stuff is going to continue to go on. You know, it's got, we're talking about delays potentially, you know, through in next year. I mean, Lord, you have cases that continue to stack up. You also, again, the Lips case does not come up for over a year, potentially, depending on how that goes. It depends on how it's decided in the early part. But if you move to trial, that doesn't even come up to 2027 itself. And there's other things that potentially might come up as well. So that's just all madness, crazy stuff.
That's why I couldn't watch anymore. I just couldn't. I stopped watching for that reason. I did go through and see some of the comments that were made and some of the questions, and I would love to have some of them answered. I hope some of them are.
This has been pretty long, this one, so I don't want to overdo you. I don't want to overdo you.
I'm worn out.
Yeah.
I got other things in my life to do, but I'm glad I took the time to do this, and we'll definitely talk more. And
what, you know what?
I go more.
You'll remember more.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
all right,
you do a follow-up
I mean,
after
I'm
you
glad
think about
to
it.
get something straightened out. I know.
Well, that would be a good thing. Actually, you know what, Shara, I think would be a good thing is if you took everything that's like questioning what's going on and you put together a list of questions that people, you know, they ask, things that that people want to understand. You know, also, I mean, I think the first one was really good because it laid the groundwork. But now Shara's also going to add. She adds other stuff to the back. Where you know, this thing is interesting.
That most people would want it. But they have to understand the position that I was in, and still am. I mean,
your life was devastated by this.
It was absolutely
more than people know. More than people know.
Absolutely.
It affected your whole life. It affected your family. It affected your kids. And that, to this day, that is just sad.
I agree. Unfortunately, in life, sometimes you just have to move on.
Yes, and that's what you did. Yes,
because I couldn't concentrate. I had to concentrate on
you. Yeah, you had to.
Family.
You had to recover.
And that's where my still is. But I still am glad that we had the talk.
I am too. Thank you,
Jamie.
I hope
that it can and clear some things up. Whether it helps in the future. I mean, I am upset that in a court of law I have had lies. You know, she's committed perjury on me. I wish they would have contacted me.
We're going to cover that in the next one. That's going to be in the part.
I really do wish that they would have, because
that would
I
be
would have
interesting.
definitely gotten on the stand.
You know what?
The truth.
I'm going to go over I'm glad you said that just now, because I'm going to go over that deposition, because I don't remember what was.
That would be good then, because yes, your name and the meeting and everything, you were brought up in that. And it's interesting because she's saying no, as a party here. Well, you know what? Those trials have not occurred yet. Like, all of that stuff is still ongoing, Jamie. So if Jamie's interested in setting the record straight, if she feels that there was something in there that was brought up that she wants to talk about, we'll have at it, And if these people, again, if they come after her and they say that she's all these terrible things, well, again, the question comes back up: why do you have that around then? Why? So, I mean, it puts them in a precarious situation where no matter the answer that's given, it's still going to be a problem for them. So
said right now, but I know that when I was watching it, I could not believe what she was saying on her. It was almost like she wanted to say the most horrific things about you to make you look as bad as possible.
Absolutely. She did that. I saw with the other people, even her own blood.
She's doing it to me too, Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, she's doing it to anybody and everybody that's tried to help her.
Yes.
I know that from this situation, she has benefited financially greatly.
Yeah.
And that absolutely saddens me, because if these people knew the truth, would they have helped her? Or would they just keep ignoring it?
No, they would. Some of them would. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right now. I'm not going to say any names, but the PR and even the attorney, and I'm not going to get into detail, but they know, and they're continuing. So some people are in it for other reasons. They're not in it for what they should be in it for, and that is what the problem is in this situation. A big problem.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Jamie, so much for this time, and I'm so happy to hear your voice.
Absolutely.
And you sound as beautiful as ever, and you're just something, Jamie. You are very special.
Well, I've worked hard on myself.
Well, there is something very, very magical about you. That's all I want to say.
I hope someday to be back in where I was.
Well, maybe some other way. Whatever way it is,
My family is number one.
Yes.
My focus is on and will always be on.
Absolutely.
And until that's settled, will I ever do anything? And that's sad.
I understand.
I am a great
activist. You are.
I am a great activist. And you stood up when nobody would.
You have a history of being an actress, and you're a comedian, comical type of girl. And when you would do
I miss all that. I feel like that was all taken from
Jamie, when you did your videos, you were hilarious. Nobody liked you.
I think I'm a little bit funny.
You were, and you are so daggone smart, girl. I'm telling you.
I'm actually going to go back to school. That is one of my goals.
Good for you.
Fill somebody in that I am going to go back. I've been working on it and getting involved in family law.
Well, here's something else. Well, now that you brought, I'm going back to school for forensics. But let me tell you something.
Nice.
What a lot of people don't know about you, which I think they should know about you, is you worked for the police department. You were a dispatch 911 operator.
I was.
Yeah.
And I have close friends that are police officers.
There you go.
If anybody walked in my shoes, they don't know how they would react.
Well, you don't like corruption.
Yeah, I don't.
But
I know people don't understand why I just kind of fell off the face of the earth.
You dropped off. You had to.
I had to.
Yeah.
I had to. There's not a choice. I loved what I did.
Yeah.
I loved helping people. There was... you can regret all day long. I don't regret. I did what I had to do.
Yeah.
But someday I intend to not only use my experience from before, I'll take and learn some more. So I'll have an education that, even though I know these things, at least the education part of it will be backed with a credential in college.
That's right. There you go.
Smart.
Me too. That's my thing.
The thing that I think somebody said, like, Shara seems so sweet. You think about it a different way. If Shara has nice feelings about a person, you could tell how somebody could have potentially, gave her a story and got her to, to fall in hook, line, and sinker. So, I mean, as far as that's concerned, I could see how somebody like Shara Again, believing, because you see it come through in people they like, and you want to give people the benefit of the doubt. You want them to be right. You want the thing that they said to be true, and you want to help people. I mean, a lot of people, that's the thing. That's the reason I don't really, as far as donors and stuff, I try not to give donors I try to look at why they do things. There have been a lot of donors that, again, there are some people out there, they're awful folks, that tried that got involved with 2L and them. But outside of that, there are a lot of people that I think just wanted to do good. They were convinced, and unfortunately, they torpedo somebody's business and more as part of that. It's just wild where that leads.
I'm very into learning, and this whole situation turned my whole life upside down.
It did.
It really.
My life has been taken over, literally taken over by this situation. Yeah. And here I am, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm in it. So I just have to.
Well, I'm glad I'm not.
Yeah, it's good you're not.
That justice has you.
Yes, justice.
Because you have always been for the right thing.
Thank you.
And I could never thank you enough for everything that you've done for me.
Thank you.
I wish that you weren't so involved in that stuff, that maybe you could help me here.
Yeah.
But, I'm learning. Yeah. I'm experiencing things that firsthand that then later in life, you could either choose to let it bring you down, or you could choose to elevate you and make you a better person. Yes. And that's what I feel like I've done. I'm definitely a different person than I was back then. Yeah. But I'm also me, and I am that comical, goofy. Yep. But I'm against corruption. I'm against child abuse. Yes. I'm very much a bit against that. Yes. That, to me, I've seen it. The same thing you say. I've watched babies die at the hands of Child Protective Services. Yes. But I've seen them leave and take kids that weren't supposed to be taken. Yeah, I've seen them abused in the cases I worked. I've and we're not going to mention any names, but I worked deep into some very, very difficult criminal cases, and those people were innocent, and it's just unreal what happens in this world. So
that's why people.
Kids taken.
That's why people have hesitance. They're very hesitant about throwing in with some of these things.
And, in the state I live in, we are right there with California. We are a Midwest town or state that has a rate that is just as high as California's in removal. Yeah. These children, so many are waiting forever homes when they had homes. Yeah, they had family. Yeah. Right now, I know for a fact that there's a case I'm very familiar with that the family, maternal grandparents, are not able to take the kids for no reason. Yeah. But now they're ready to adopt those children out. What is wrong? It eats at me, and I wish that I could continue until I'm in a safe place in my life with my family. I can't. But just everybody know that's never changed for me. I've never wanted to stand by while this abuse of the baby. Yeah. You feel helpless. I know. And that's where I felt. I know. I feel the same. I feel helpless in this moment. So many things to so many people, and I'm proud of you. I really am. Thank you. And you've never given up, and I'm glad to have done this interview with you. Thank you. I hope that we can continue, and I hope that if there are some questions, we can get those. We will. We'll do that in the next one, and we'll talk about that deposition. I can't wait until the day that you and I meet up in D.C. again. I missed that part of it. Yes. I felt like I was very heavily involved in legislation, and I got to sit next to women that absolutely changed the face of how things were handled. And boy, are they doing it. They still get away with it. They still made some changes. Yes. And well, they're working. Call them mentors. They are working it, girl. Let me tell you, they are amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we'll have to plan a trip. It'll be a nice. Oh, I would love it. Everybody would love to see you. All right, my love. To see everybody. I will talk to you soon. Yes. All my love. Okay. You take care, honey. All right, honey. Much love. Bye-bye.
All right, let's see the attachments. All right, I'm going to turn down certain things. Let's see what's on here. So my friend that was visiting, that had Jeremy, so my friend that was visiting, Jeremy had come down here, is no longer visiting. Her camper will be picked up as soon as you make arrangements for it. She has to move on, go to stay with her children and her family, another town. close by, but she's no longer on my property. So you can see the dates on that. Okay. Let's see. I'll check sound too to see if anything like a report. I can't remember what's in the back of this. Okay. So I didn't fire a pew there at all. I'm clean. I was trying to do things with her, but somehow I'm the problem. I did nothing but help her over and over. She's only focused on her problem with Jeremy and has an abusive ex. She's obligated to, and I can't take that crap. I was trying to help and did tons of stuff over there. So much my man left before me because he hated it there. And way she wanted me to do everything for her. I most definitely helped and helped. Last week, I brought my cousin with me to help me one time. One second, I got to clear my throat. And another, then that when I had some stuff going on and was having some concerns for my safety. One friend just found out and moved there, came by to check out. Okay, so we're trying to fix. Door handle came off. Let's see. I can't respond, but she's giving you false info to you, or giving false info to you for sure. You know me. And you know, I don't lie to you. I've never said someone was going to make me a title. That's a flat out lie. It's redacted Indiana. I talked to, wait, let me turn off the closed caption there. Talked to the detective. Most definitely am getting my things back, most likely tomorrow. That was in 2023. I won't be helping Michelle at all anymore. She's not a good person. Saying I did nothing for her? Come on now. That's what that says. Yeah, her list of objects, by the way, is in here too. I will be suing her, she said, back when too, and she will lose. I have the cams coming and the calls. It will show she kept all of my stuff outside new tools, power washer. She kept my all my outside stuff in line, saying the tow company took it. So she said the tow company took it. Is that the thing? Well, they're willing to give statements to the fact that she had it all there, hundreds of dollars in tools alone. I have all the receipts and proof it was there. My parents' thing was over 20 something, and he needed it for his wheelchair. Oh yeah, they're talking about the lift there. So here's her, I am not doing anything, and she is a POS because she stole all of this from me. So you can see some of the stuff that's listed there as well. Like, again, you can freeze frame on that. Again, if you've not checked out the entire interview, from back to front, 1 and 2, you definitely need to, because it puts together the story of this person. And again, this person comes up in these main trials. In fact, they are part of the jump off point, the original placement. Plus, they had some items, pictures, and more that kind of they don't fit in to what's being stated. So ask her if she's going to give my stuff back today, because I'm heading that way soon. And if not, I'm calling the police to make a report for sure. I'm getting the body cams, reports, any pics they took, and it will show that she kept my things. I mean, I asked within a couple of hours, and she said, quote, "They took it all. Nothing is left here," which was a lie. So return my things and we'll be done. I'll go on my way. Again, she has more items that are listed here as well. There are several $1,000s worth of items that are alleged to have been taken too. You have Preston here. Hey, girl. So this is Preston in April 2023. Hey, girl, I'm thinking of driving kids to their dads in redacted for their summer break. Actually, this is her talking to Preston for their summer break and taking a week or so to get out there. He said, you guys are only about 30 miles away, so we should plan a visit. I miss you guys so much. Oh, yes, please, Jamie, Hey, sis, so I am still working on coming to Florida at the end of the month. You got some room for me? I am supposed to get my ex trailer, and I can't read the rest down there, but she's talking about the visit. She said, or just freaking come live here. So Preston invites her to live there. Says, huh, I'm serious about coming to live as well. I really think it would be better for me, but I have the kids and I will need to get some rooms for them, or God knows CPS will take them. So Michelle tells her, nope, you can live in an RV here with your children and they do not care. I know I'm living in a camper. They just were here yesterday. Wait, CPS was there May 23rd, 2023? Is that what you're saying? And I'm staying in the shed with my daughter with a composting toilet. But I have the toilet in the camper too. So it's hooked up to septic. If you ended up staying here, we could probably hook your camper up to septic. They don't care about any of that here. Everyone lives in RVs. The only thing they care about, you can't do the rugs, and you can't have DV. Yes, that would probably be good not to have. So there's a cutoff part of a message. Wait, let me make sure. Yeah, okay. I got it parked. It's a huge doggone it, but I wish that one instead of our little one, but it's nice. The door, you need to fix it. It's taped shut. You know, you can see the audio calls and stuff. It's here, it's safe, but I swear to God, girl, I'm either going to buy it from you or I'm going to use it. It's beautiful. So yeah, you better just move here, please. You know, so there's talk about the trailer. So she's told, thank you. Thanks so much, sis. I'm definitely considering it. I want to spend a few weeks, but I've got to get redacted in 30th. So we're going to have some pictures. Wait, no, that's okay. That is body cam. Is that what that is? Yeah,
that's 10-4 because.
Give me a second here. Like I said, it's been a minute since I watched the end of everything.
What?
I've been in Okay, Sarah, thank you. Okay, all right, thank you, bye. Sarah is my investigative reporter that's helping me with this Hale's case.
So right there, look, where they're threatening Shara, right there is Shara's get out of things for free. Because you notice that in the body cam footage, she is her investigative reporter. So right there, she's claiming, you know, when they're talking about suing her for talking about things that she's noted or alleged. Well, they loved her before. You can hear her talking about it. And again, you see how she even tells the police that. So good luck again saying, hey, the stuff that this person is saying about me, actually, that's terrible and I can't have that. Good luck with that, because again, you talked about them being your investigative reporter. That right there, that's better than any other type of proof. Her own words.
She knows Jamie very, very well. So
Jamie Johnson, or no?
Jamie Starr Johnson.
Okay, and that's the female that was here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I've been in constant contact with her about everything, anything going on here. So
how did she say she got it?
Well, I know how Jamie got it.
How did she get it?
I was here. Jamie said her ex-husband was going to pay her off child support by giving her a camper that she could pull home and live in Indiana. So I was like, okay, well, she said, can I put it on your property till I get there? And I'm like, yeah.
And what was her husband's name?
So
Johnson.
Let me grab my
that's where that allegation came from, by the way.
Can you come back forward?
It does.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine.
No, you gotta do it.
All that stuff under it, is that all hers?
Everything under it and in it is hers.
I got you.
Isn't that awful? I hate to say it, but she does something right.
She does what? What did they say?
I know she has bought a lot of stuff.
How do you spell her name?
But what?
Isn't that awful? I hate to say it, but she does something right.
Did she say she does drunk drive? Is that what she said?
And I know Well, she has bought a lot of stuff.
How do you spell her name?
No, he is a man.
Oh, he. Okay, so
I don't know, E-Y or Y. That's all I know his name is.
and then hers was what?
It's Jamie Starr Johnson.
Jamie.
Yep. I should be recording this just because I don't want to.
Johnson.
I'm not going to aim it at you or nothing. I'm just
That's fine.
Record it 'cause,
Do you know her contact information?
Yep.
What's her phone number?
Hold on. I don't know.
I got you. If you could come around to this corner. So I can't let, I don't got a wet-proof pad.
You know what's, the police, they treated like Hales is the reason they have to go to this property all the time, right? But you look at all these other calls, arrests they've happened around, and just it's wild stuff, So they've been out there for all kind of stuff.
Try not to let it.
The Wild West.
That way if it goes,
I don't care. I don't care if I get it.
You don't have information, correct?
No, I don't even know how to get a hold of him because I would have contacted him about her crazy behavior.
Gotcha.
Oh fuck, Jeremy Hales is gonna fucking help.
When was the last time that you spoke to her?
Did you hear her bring up Jeremy Hales, by the
2
way?
days ago.
Did you hear that? So
You don't have information, correct?
No, I don't even know how to get a hold of him because I would have contacted him about her crazy behavior.
Gotcha.
Oh fuck, Jeremy Hales is gonna fucking help.
When was the last time that you
see, even with that, like they throw Jeremy Hales into all this. I mean, he has nothing to do with it, It's wild. Like he is the devil. He is the devil.
You spoke to her.
2 days ago, we let her come back the night before last to get clothes and stuff, and then she left. She slept in her camper one night, but I told her she cannot stay, and then she took off the next morning, and we haven't seen her since.
When did she show up with the trailer?
She didn't come with the camper.
So she didn't come originally with the camper?
No.
Her husband brought the camper to her?
He brought the camper with another man, supposedly his partner or his best friend.
How long ago was that?
I gotta ask John. Because
he said a few weeks whenever I asked him, but you don't know the exact number?
I don't know the exact date.
More than 2 weeks?
Yes.
Okay.
It's been more than a month.
More than a month?
Yep, because her transmission went out. And I went and talked to Levy County. I told them that I hooked it up to the septic and to electric, and they didn't have a problem with it, so.
Gotcha.
But she's not living in.
Gotcha.
Do we
know where she's staying at right now?
She met some.
She's just staying with some guy she met?
A girl.
Oh, a girl?
Named Amanda.
Amanda. I don't know.
Everybody said not to say this, and I'm gonna because I gotta be transparent. I can't be responsible for none of the assistance with kids. And with that guy after me, I think she's doing meth. So I made her with you.
Tambo. Gotcha.
So she tells the police again that she's using substances. She makes the allegation to the police with that. Again, she makes allegations that she's been on substances for a long time, though. Again, that is the I to belabor that point. I'm just saying she says that about when she's first coming in contact with these people, and then later. I mean, she makes all that, but she's allowed to stay around until what? And the first thing people have told me not to say this, but I'm definitely like, okay, all right. it blows my mind, man. Some of this, so much fucking drama and crazy. I could not live this way.
I can't help it. I've got to protect my daughter.
No, I understand. Your first name is it Lynnette?
Yes.
Lynnette. Preston, Preston.
Yes. Hale's.
Date of birth. Good phone number is the.
Yep. Hale's is going to have a freaking. He's going to put this out everywhere. And it's not my fault.
You didn't say it was.
I know. She seemed perfectly fine when she got here. But then her and the boyfriend came together, this guy named, and they came here together.
That was and came here, or
no,
her and
Jeremy and came.
Okay.
After the camper was here, and they fought the whole time they were here. So I made her make him leave because I can't have this. I can't have this kind of crap going on here. So I made him leave. And she's been here, and everything seemed fine.
Now you said something. Did you say something about Hales had asked her to come here to help you?
Yes.
So how does he know her?
Because the very first day when I got on my property,
Hales asked her what? Hales asked her. You know, again, statements like this with the police. This is the kind of stuff right here. When all these people say that they're going to come for Jeremy and they're going to do this or that, man. I mean, look at some of these crazies. Say what? Like, again, she made it very clear. Like, that is an out and out like falsehood. She blamed Jeremy Hales for her coming there. I mean, listen to that again. I know I jumped a little bit, but
something
still.
About Hales had asked her to come here to help you?
Yes.
So how does he know her?
Because the very first day when I got on my property, a tree has fallen over the road, and I asked, he was going by on a tractor, and I said, hey, can you help me get this tree out of the road? She was here, I was here.
So now it's Jeremy Hill's fault that somebody, again, these are allegations. I'm not saying this is true, but she has a hot vehicle, a person alleged to be using substances, somebody that is involved in, we're going to say domestic quarrels. I'm going to put it that way. All of these issues. And you know who gets brought up as the person to blame to the police? Jeremy Hills. Again, how is this not character assassination? How is this not? I mean, this is insanity. This is absolute freaking insanity. I mean, these people, you see their communications and stuff. Hales isn't the one. Those communications we just read, like when I went over that and we read that stuff together at the very beginning. Yeah. Did you see Jeremy Hales involved in that? Or did you see her saying, hey, I want to come out and stay with you? And Lynette Preston being like, oh, yeah, great. Hey, I'm still planning on coming to Florida. That's not Jeremy Hales in those communications. He doesn't. I mean, this is wild stuff. Again, every misdeed, the police are told, like Jeremy Hales has some kind of issue that involves these. Again, I record every fucking thing these people ever did, and I would make it. I'd make everything public because ultimately, it's the only way I could ever protect myself. Because I can't believe the things that this man has been accused of, just random stuff. And other people have been blamed for everything from pooping in fence posts, God knows what. It's wild, man.
He tried to hook up with her. She's got text messages and everything from him. I have hundreds of texts.
Gotcha.
Where are they, Lynette? Where are those texts, by the way? Lynette keeps saying she has hundreds of text messages between Jeremy Hales and between Jamie Starr Johnson. Where are those? Why wasn't that brought out to strengthen your commentary? Because again, you know, she turned what disgusts me about this whole situation here is ultimately the admission that Jeremy Hales met them for the first time, trying to do a good deed. He brought over a tractor. He tried to help them out when he didn't have to. But he tries to help them out. And look how it's framed. He's over here. He's trying to hook up with this person. Now time later, he's caused her to come back and she's all these terrible things. And it's being told, this isn't just drama being told to people online, which is one thing, but even worse, it's being told to the police. This is character assassination. Yeah, this person that steals shit and, you know, this person that's using substances, Jeremy Hales. Huh. Wow.
Talking about how I'm beating my child and all these things, and I wanted her to come. I wanted her to see everything was fine. I wanted her to be my,
Your proof?
yeah, my proof.
Is that as far as it'll go?
That's all mine.
All right. If that's as far as it'll go, then...
Yeah, I think.
All right. It's enough for them to get transported at least.
Still got another 3.5, 4 inches.
Yeah, it's pretty jumped up in there. It's hard to get it in. All their stuff, if you guys can just pull it under the awning so that way she can come back and get it. But
I don't even want to see her ass.
oh, I mean, I understand. I do, believe me.
You were my coach anyway.
Yeah, she's allowed to get her stuff. See, the police tell them that.
Hey, Corporal. They wanted me to go ahead and have them unhook everything and go ahead and get a 1070 on the way and find out if the other state's going to want it processed or not. And if they do, it probably won't fit in our parking lot.
Leave it at 575. Just for 43, your 1099 is going to be 2838, 2838.
Same, well, thank you. So, yeah, it'll be something that they have to store. I mean, it's got a whole bunch of crap in there. We had to go in there to get it closed up because they had it fully extended on the side and the awning was out, so we had to go in there and move stuff around to get it to where we could close it up for the most part. And it still doesn't close up 100%. But no, it's a 2019 Jayco. No, it's got some damage on the left-hand side, but besides that, it looks in fairly good condition. Yeah, they're getting the stuff off from underneath it now that belongs to the girl that was staying in.
So 2838, wouldn't that be 28? Isn't like a 1028 a vehicle registration, and a 1038 is stolen property? Isn't that what that means? I don't know. Maybe somebody up here speaks, police code a little better than I do, but I think that's what that means.
I guess she's already called her and told her she needs to come over here, but the girl's not going to do it. Yeah, no. Yep, that's what my thought is on it. Well, she's losing a lot of crap that's inside there because that place is packed inside.
Okay, so let's mute out for a minute here. All right, you have more conversation here. Northport was the cleaning and getting ready to sell, going to see the property. You have a question here, is that when she mentioned his fan base, when she made you watch his videos? I recall you saying this in another chat. When you met her in Northport the first time, she'd already had the baby, right? And with first time You met cleaning house, you drove to Otter Creek. How many times did you visit? So she definitely figured out where he lived before. She decided to buy the property. And yes, there was a time she talked about how his fan base could help her with her turtle rescue, if you want to call it that. Well, interesting. So here's Preston in conversation here. It doesn't sound like it's good, honey. Why are they not giving you a chance to get them into your home? I know you don't like talking about it. I'm sorry. Man, I could really use your help here for a week or two getting this house ready to go. You want to take a break? LOL, serious hint, hint. Yeah, I'd love to come. So she's told. This is obviously, you can tell, with Jamie communicate. I swear, if you can afford to get a round trip ticket, maybe come out for a week or so, help me out, and we could spend that time really getting to know each other. We could go to the beach. I think you could use a break. I can look at whatever air, get you a ticket, see how much I can find one for if you truly want a break. She's like, yep, I need that. Let's do it. So me too. I'm going to try and clean the kitchen tomorrow by putting redacted poo-poo in her chair to color. I'm so embarrassed, but that's why I need your help. I'm just so embarrassed and I'm so angry. I asked him to watch her so that I can at least do a few things. So at least my house doesn't stink in it. At least the dishes are done and he won't water. He gives me an excuse to go outside, wash the gazebo so that we can sit out there. I've never sat out there with him once since he put it up because I hate him. And he won't watch her so I can at least do the dishes. You're going to get here and look at this house and go, Michelle, you're a pig. And I'm not that. And it's not that I'm a pig. Instead, I have nobody to watch her while I do it. It's so embarrassing. So that's talk about, well, we know who that's talking about there. So I asked him for help this morning and he told me flat out, no, it's just going to be whatever help you can give me. I want us to go have fun. I'd like to know if you'd like to go look at the property with me. You never know. You may decide to just kick Indiana and come live with me. And I'd love to show you the property and see what you think. It's like, yeah, I'd love to see it. I did want to take a little time to visit with my favorite cousin. He will come out and get me and bring me home. He's only 30 minutes away. I haven't seen him for years. Like, yeah, it's been lots of fun. Okay, let's see. Next one. I have a huge decision to make, LP says. Huge decision today, just right off the top, to go ahead and purchase the property. 2 other people have put in bids on the property, so I need to put in a cash offer. The offer is going in tomorrow morning. I have no choice. John is livid and mad, but he had every opportunity to just stop yelling at me, and he won't, or help me, and he won't do that either. So he's very upset, and I'm pretty scared. I mean, it's a lot to take on a property like that and do what I'm going to do and be there alone. So how long do you plan on spending with your cousin? A day, a couple of days, blah, blah, blah. Just one day. Okay, we'll figure it out. All right, blah, blah, blah. All right. Let's see. Just need to get the house clean enough to take pictures to sell it immediately. So, that's discussion about selling property. Yeah, wow, that's insane. Yep. What's the name of your YouTube couple? So you notice this is in the discussion about the property. Isn't that interesting? So in the discussion about the property, look who comes up. The Hales. What the Hales is the couple across the street. That's them. So there they are, like pictures. They said they absolutely weren't. They didn't know anything about them. They're going to be neighbors and all of that. Well, there's the discussion of them. So there's the pictures and everything. Right there at the street. I'm watching. That will really help your property and value. Yes, it will. The property that I'm going to buy across the street from them is going to explode in value, especially with them building an animal sanctuary and animal area on their property. You watch, it's going to be crazy. There's your answer for why exactly they say, well, if I were able to do some B&Bs with little sheds as bedrooms, yeah, that's how I'm going to make my money. So right there's your answer to why you moved to Otter Creek and what exactly the business plan was. It was to move across the street from Jeremy and George. You can see them discussing it. They didn't just know who they were. They're talking about making money, a business model that is attached to them. So if they refuse to be part of the business model, what happens then? That's and again, you can fill those blanks in from what you've seen. But what was the plan? I mean, you're selling everything, hoping that your property, and you know what's crazy is it would have appreciated. In fact, if people would just gotten along with Hales, if they were just like, yo, dude, build up what you've talked about. You want to actually make this into some hub where, you have a business here. You have close. I mean, you're closing every day. You're closing a little bit closer and closer to 1 million subscribers as they watch. You build up the town with it. Of course, your property would have appreciated. It would have. Just off of that alone. I mean, these people, if they could stick to something and get along with folks, it would have, But she told, yeah, you got this. And if you decide to leave Indiana, you can come live with me and we can do a YouTube channel. We can do a B&B in our sanctuary with the tortoises in. So, I mean, they're talking about business plans off of the Hales. I mean, it's right there. Holy shit, man. Clear as day, With the B&B, with little sheds as bedrooms. Yeah, wait. Right here. With a sanctuary with the tortoises and everything will be peachy, cool. If I had to get your kids, we'll bring your kids. They'll love it. Wow. Do I have a pleasant surprise for you? If you've never had a banana or mango directly off the vine or tree, you're going to be surprised. You're going to love it out here. Yeah, there's the hard sell. And is that everything? Yep. That right there at the very end is a heck of a thing. It very well is. All right. We went a long time, much longer than normal. I appreciate you folks that stuck around. It was definitely a lot, but it was good to go over. Tomorrow we'll be going over some interesting receipts. We'll actually see what, if we get any posting talking about what's here. It'll be curious. Like I said, I'll bring up that BBB thing too. I need to send that over to myself because the BBB discussion where he's popped in. Now I'm going to redirect you all to Flashcast tonight. Again, if you easily offend, do not go over there. But if you want to go have fun, like I said, I like Flash, good people. I've known him for a long time, but you can go over there, laugh at situations, see exactly what's going on, and enjoy yourself. But I'm calling it. We've been here for a long time tonight, but I appreciate you. It's good to be back, and we'll see you tomorrow. It'll be early, by the way, earlier. Peace.